aptitude, expertise, genius, gift.
I'm the fucking talent.
Hey, what's happening? Mike Smith's 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. Are we okay? How we doing? Everybody got their masks on? Are you ready for the pandemic that's about to sweep this goddamn nation and put us all on our goddamn asses? You're aware of that, right? I'm sure you heard Stephen King predicted it a long time ago with Captain Trips, and then it was just going to go running rampant through our fucking population, and eventually there'd be 5 people living on a goddamn beach. So wear your masks. It's very important.
I don't have a goddamn mask, but I need to get a mask. It's funny, when this happened, I thought to myself that our friend Lily Von Stupp would have masks, and all day today she's been posting on Facebook that she can't buy masks because real people are stealing all of the masks and hoarding them because, look, man, because everybody's fucking insane. Now, and again, it's one of those things where it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. We all have to protect ourselves. I drive Uber on occasion, as you know. I'm in the car lurking, and I'm driving people to and fro, and they cough. People cough. They're sickly. They're ill. They should be in a fucking iron lung, not a Toyota Camry hybrid, for fuck's sake, and rolling around. You know what? Let the monkeys throw you on a goddamn iron lung and roll you around and do that on a city street. Like they're rolling a 4-post bed or whatever the fuck around. You know what? You put on your inner Davy Jones and cough into a goddamn pillow while the monkeys wheel you through an intersection, okay? Get out of my fucking car. Who do you think you are coming in here spreading the disease like Anthrax is a debut album? I know it might not have been Anthrax's debut album. Look, we're working off the top of our head here. I remember Spreading the Disease. I think that's, it might not be their debut album, but it is the first album by Anthrax that I did get. And not a good cover either. Anthrax, they need to work on the artwork a little bit, but they've got a twin guitar attack that's coming right for your goddamn throat. And when Joey was there, it was really peak Anthrax. I mean, certainly your friend John Bush, Frank Bush, Anthrax Bush, Jody Bush, might have been Jody Bush. That's who I'm going to say. That I'm going to say the band Anthrax risked all of their credibility with all of their fans and hired a lead singer named Jody, and he came in and he tore it up. No, it's John Bush, right? And then, of course, Joey Belladonna came back, and I think he's back there now. And I'm going to share this with you. Well, I'll tell you this in a second. Well, I can't. Well, fuck it. I'll just tell you. There's a. I know I'm going to lose my way here, but we went to this Dio thing last week. My friend Pat Francis and I. We wound up at a Ronnie James Dio concert, and it was, it wasn't really a concert. It was more of a production, more of a film strip, really. Like, imagine if you were in 5th grade, and they said, all right, we're going to show you Ronnie James Dio on a film strip. And then there's this hologram lurking, and then a full band kicks in and plays We Rock, and your fucking heart leaps out of your chest. We Rock, maybe? Not We Walk? You know what, actually... I went to a Ronnie James Chang concert, and they played We Walk. It was not good. Nothing I enjoyed, and certainly I'm sure I'm going to get Me Too'd for that now. I shouldn't be doing is that beyond the pale? Did I do that now? Did I make a huge fucking mistake? See, I wait a day to do the show. I try to gather my thoughts and do this the right fucking way, and look what happens. That happens. Fuck. Why the fuck was it? Oh, because so in the program, they're talking about who's going to be at this show, and the funniest thing about it was like, they were like, the Death of the Dragon Award will be presented to Mark Collins from WEA International, and like all these fucking label dudes were getting prizes, but they were awards, but they were named after shit like Dio would say. Like the We Rock Ride the Holy Diver Award goes to Steven Wilson from Columbia Records. It's like, dude, I'm sure, and they were presented by like Tommy Lee and shit like that. So I'm sure Tommy Lee's up there and he's like, "Hey, what's up, bros? Ride fucking deal. Let's remember, there you go, fucking horns up. All right, let's talk about this now. Here's the fucking, the Mob Rules Award. We're going to present it to, looks like Thomas Reynolds of fucking WEA Electra Atlantic. All right, Thomas Reynolds." And then they play fucking Dio songs. And then he comes up and he's like, I'd like to really thank everyone, of course, Wendy Dio, for having me. Shut the fuck up. Fuck your awards and fuck your dumb names and fuck label guys getting awards. Although it was a cancer show. But I'll tell you this. Fucking Dio, this made me laugh. Pat and I are in the lobby of this fucking thing. I should tell you, the reason we got to go is because Pat Francis got invited, and he said, "Hey, man, do you want to go to this fucking Dio tribute?" And I said, yeah, but it turned out it was the same day as the Eddie Money thing we were going to, so we had to kind of split the difference. So we could only see it was fun. It was actually pretty cool because we got to skulk around in an empty building and watch the Dio band warm up. We got to see sound checks and shit like that, which was totally fun, right? I dug that. And then we're going to book in the middle of it and go ahead and check out the Eddie Money concert. By the way, we're going to book back in 1983 is what we're going to do. What do you mean you're going to book? Who the fuck am I? Dude, let's book. Fuck. We got in our VW van and we headed over to the other show. So we get in there and they've got programs galore for everybody to have. They're on seats. Here's my favorite thing. Again, as I've mentioned before, Pat Francis is just a, how do I put this? He has no fear, and he's kind of a monster, and he's one of those dudes who he's just wherever he is, he's supposed to be there, goddammit. I mean, we're invited via email because he has a relationship with Wendy Dio because he had Wendy on his podcast, and then they hit it off, and now he's been to like the Rock and Bowl thing for Dio. He's been to a few different things, but now he gets invited to this thing, right? And he's fucking heisting programs. We're like up in the balcony. He takes like fucking 6 programs. And I'm like, are you going to hide those in your shirt? He's like, no, man, I'm just going to gank them. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why? We're going to get murdered, man. But I guess I kind of overestimated the amount of security they would have at the Dio show. Because honestly, I'm there and I'm a big dude and I'm wearing kind of all black. I had a black hoodie on. People thought I was security. It happens every show I go to because of my haircut and the fucking all black outfit that I'm usually fucking wearing. People will come up to me and ask me where the restrooms are or say that, I'm sorry, they'll show me their ticket and want to sit down or ask if they can leave. That's the big thing is they'll say, do I have in out? Can we go in out? Can we come back in the building? And I'm like, I don't even know if they can. I'm just like, sure. Go ahead and leave. And then I'm never going to be around again when they fucking duck back in and have to fight with 4 other jugheads who are going to tell them they can't come back into the building because they weren't supposed to fucking leave. They're going to try to clear it with me, but I'm going to be off into the fucking distance disappearing because what the fuck? What are you going to go ahead and call me out? Not going to happen, baby. I'm gone like a ghost. So we're upstairs in the balcony, and he's stealing programs. But so I crack one open, I start reading it, and like I said, it's got all those dumb award names. The fucking Heavy Metal Horns Award, and fuck that, who cares? The Viking Axe to the Blade Award. Shut up. But they were there. The Last in Line Award. And those, and again, being presented to guys in suits and whatever the fuck. And I was disappointed we weren't going to be there to see that because I wanted to see the rock stars come out and say that. But so I'm paging through, and they're talking about, like I said, Tommy Lee is going to be there. He's there, and not performing. He's presenting an award. Sebastian Bach is going to be there. He's presenting an award. Sebastian Bach from Skid Row. All these other metal names. But then we're flipping through the fucking program, and it's talking about the entertainment for the evening, and the Dio fucking hologram band is going to tear it up, and it's Craig Goldie from Jafria, and Simon Wright, the drummer, and a few other, famous metal sidemen, like that kind of deal. That's the Dio band. So we watched them fucking rev it up. But again, it was that thing where I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. You're going to have a hologram Dio walk around while a band plays. And then by the time it was over, I was like, take my money. I will pay to see this in any city in America. I don't fucking care, because there's something about metal music, man. There's something about live metal music when it hits you in the fucking chest. Real metal music. Not like hair metal, not Poison and shit like that. Fucking Dio. Dio isn't Black Sabbath. And he doesn't fuck around. You can't lump him in with those other assholes. Like Bon Jovi, they're a rock band. And Poison and Rat and Motley Crue got there a little bit, but they're not. Even Motley Crue, they can't be fucking, like, Dio's more like Judas Priest, where you feel it in your fucking stomach. You know what I mean? Right in your chest. You're like, fuck yeah. Motley Crue and Poison, whatever the fuck they're doing, it's just kind of not the same. But Dio do. They this sound check of them playing We Rock, it just we're sitting there, and I'm looking at Pat. He's not even looking back at me. He's filming it, so I filmed it too. I have it on my phone. And after I looked, dude, that was fucking amazing. He's like, yep. I'm like, I would actually pay to see that. I'm sure they'd never come here because it's LA. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to fucking pay to go see a fucking hologram of Ronnie James Dio in LA. But that's the kind of show that's like for fucking, Topeka. What are those? Because nobody goes to fucking Topeka. Topeka's happy. You know who goes to Topeka? Kiss and holograms of old famous people. Like literally Ronnie James Dio's holograms. Like they would, in Topeka, they'd pay to see fucking Ronnie James Dio's bones. Like they were just like, here's his skeleton. And they prompted up on say, that'd even be more metal than a hologram. How the fuck do you not dig up his skeleton and bring that on tour? Just the fucking Ronnie James Dio skeleton with the fucking, like his bony fingers and the goddamn horns. And people are just going, yes, we rock. Ding, 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 ding. It doesn't sound nearly that bad. Ding, 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 ding. I don't know why they're playing the James Bond theme on a toy guitar, but that, you know what? Look, it's Dio's set list. He's not here to make it, so the band goes ahead and says, you know what? We'll play a bunch of Dio songs. But Craig Goldie from Jafria is like, but you know what? There is one thing to get me in the band. One thing I need. I need to be able to play the James Bond theme on a toy guitar, not a ukulele. I mean, like a children's guitar that has a photo of a Muppet on it, preferably Cookie Monster or Oscar. No Elmo, goddammit. It's right there in the rider. Van Halen had no brown M&Ms. He has no Elmo. No Elmo. And you know what Elmo says about that? He says, me don't understand. I can't do Elmo's voice like Max can. But so they ding 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 boo, and then they go back and play a Dio song. They got to play the Man on the Silver Mountain, and everybody's happy. All right, what was I? Oh, so the program. So we fucking open it up. So the Dio hologram is the headliner, of course, because it's Ronnie James Dio. And also, I will tell you this: they were honoring. This made me laugh because I'm a dick. We're in the lobby. And all these people are showing up. There's Sebastian Bach, and there's Craig Goldie. All these people are they're mingling, metal people. And metal in LA, it just won't die, man. So there's that, this is where it was based. So you see guys, and Pat knows who all of them are. He's like, oh, that's the keyboard player from Armored Saint. And I'm like, okay, well, I didn't know they had keyboards. I didn't know that any of them were still alive. But Pat knows all those dudes, right? That's his deal. Again, in Rock Solid podcast, he's got to know all this stuff. He's got to be solid on his rock with Rock Solid. So he's looking around, and then we see these two dudes, and he goes, hey, you see those guys? And they're two dudes who are standing off to the side, and they're wearing, how do I explain? They're wearing fancy suits. They weren't shark skin, but they were shiny. They were the kind of suits that looked like if a meatball fell on it, it would slide to the floor and not leave a stain. You know what I mean? These guys, they look like they might have been Martinized, these two fellas. They had walked out of a dry cleaner's that afternoon in these outfits, and they were Teflon, man. Nothing was going to stick to these two motherfuckers. And they were tailored suits, and they looked good suit wise. But then the rest of them, their hair, they weren't metal dudes. Okay, they didn't have metal hair, but they were just those old people who are trying to save it. I'm old, and I'm letting it. Everything's going to hell. I realize everything's going to hell. I'm lucky enough that I sort of look like a blue collar lug, so I don't have to worry about what I look like. Really, I cut my hair the way I want to cut my hair and shit like that. I don't have to do the comb over yet. By the way, I specify yet. But my hair's not falling out at an alarming clip, so I don't have to make it into a fucking hot fudge sundae. You ever see those fucking assholes? They're just like, hold on, I'm going to comb my hair into the shape of the shit emoji and hope nobody notices I have a triangle on my head. Those fucking idiots. They always look like they're wearing a fucking... It's their hair. It's legitimately their hair, but it looks like they're wearing the hat a sultan gave them. You know what I mean? Just a weird fucking genie poof thing, and it's kind of flat, kind of covers over their ears. It looks like they should have fucking ear flaps. They look like they should be fucking Cousin Eddie shoveling a driveway in fucking Christmas Vacation, but it's their real fucking hair. It's just, it looks like an ear flap hat, but it's just, they do whatever they can, whatever marvelous trick they think they're fooling everybody with. They spin it, they style it, they dunk their head in a cotton candy machine and do what the fuck they can to spin it up to the goddamn roof so nobody goes, hey, weirdos. And I think, you know what, there's probably why they wear these fucking shiny suits. That's why they're wearing those goddamn sharkskin Teflon shiny meatball proof suits, Martinized like motherfuckers, because they don't want anybody to go, hey, I hate to let you know this, but you got cumulus nimbus on top of your head. Your suit looks terrific, but unfortunately your scalp has a storm front going through. I think you might want to go ahead and take a look at that. If I had a green screen and a clicker, I'd be talking about what the weather was like in Bakersfield and pointing at your fucking forehead. Your skull looks like it's bringing some sort of fucking front right through this goddamn lobby. But good for them. So they're wearing their suits. They got the fucked up hair. And Pat sees them, and and I will tell you this, he had nothing on me here because I'd already read the program upstairs, man. And he looks and he goes, hey, those guys over there, that's the doctors who treated Ronnie James Dio when he had his cancer. I said, I know this. They're actually in the program. I think they're on the dais to be awarded something today. And he goes, oh, okay. And I go, let me ask you this. What are they getting awarded? And he goes, I don't know. I should look in the program. And I go, no, seriously. I don't even care what it is. He's dead. You didn't do your fucking job, you dicks. And Pat laughed, and I go, what if I walked over to him and I went, hey, you could have saved Ronnie when you had the chance, and I punched him right in the fucking face. I said, that's metal, right? I could get away with that. And Pat laughed uncomfortably because I think sometimes he thinks that I might do something silly like that. Even though he's the one who's bringing the heat down on us by stealing everything in the goddamn joint. He's like a weird ass klepto. He's got candle holders and fucking everything else in his pockets. Fucking, they had a silent auction. I half expected to see like there was a Rolex with a skull on it. I half expected to see Pat wearing it later at the night at Eddie Money because all the shit was on a table and he's just walking by helping himself to fucking everything. He's got 6 programs. Why the fuck not? Nobody stopped us. Nobody said a goddamn word to us. Everybody just kind of walking around. And dude, I wanted to fuck up those doctors just to be a dick, just because it would be funny. Even if I don't hit him. If I just walked up to him and I was like, hey, fellas, I have no idea why you're here. Because quite frankly, if you'd done your fucking jobs, Ronnie's here tonight. We don't even have this goddamn evening. Maybe we have a Ronnie concert. I'd have to go watch a fucking Filmstrip glitch and flip on stage while Craig Goldie tries to keep his leather pants from bursting at the fucking seams. This is your fucking fault, man. You should have seen his Carsa and Nomad it. You should have Nomad the shit out of his Carsa right away. What the fuck? I didn't even know what he had. Did he have lung cancer? I don't know what Ronnie James Dio had. Again, I met him. Super nice guy. Met him a million years ago, and I still have his autograph, and it's a brilliant autograph. And then it just so happened this summer I went to fucking Forest Lawn Cemetery. Because I had a lovely guest in town and she likes cemeteries, and she's like, yeah, let's go to this. And I was like, all right. Because it was early in us. This was our first meeting, actually. And then she was like, she had mentioned that she was coming to LA to do a bunch of different things. And one of them was to go to Forest Lawn Cemetery. And I said, cool. Because I like to lie. Cool. I didn't think it was cool at all. But I thought it was interesting because that I've lived here for however long and I've never been to a place like that. And I didn't know what it entailed. Initially I thought it'd be a group thing, whatever the fuck, but it turned out we just drove in and parked, and then you get out and you literally just walk around, man, and you look at graves and you look at plaques and you look at placards and you look at statues and shit, and you're looking for famous people's names. And for her, we found Andy Gibb, and she was very moved by that, which was lovely. And then for me, we found Ronnie James Dio, and that was a complete accident. I didn't plan on finding Ronnie James Dio. I just came around the corner and there was a gigantic devil horn hand sculptures and a thing that said "The Man on Silver Mountain." I've told you about this. I mentioned this months ago when it happened. But so Ronnie James Dio is a constant in my life these days. Constant? Twice? Really? In 8 months? That seems weird. 8 months? 6 months? Let's see. It's February now. Let's see. September, October, November, December, January, February. So was it September? I think it was. Or was she here in August? I don't fucking remember. She was here, and we went to a funeral. Or not to a funeral. We went to a fucking place. A funeral home. Morgue. Mausoleum. I can't think of graveyard. There you go. Fucking cemetery. That's the word I couldn't think of. How can you not think of the word cemetery? Jesus fuck. So we're upstairs, or I'm upstairs, I should say, and Pat goes. He has to go feed the meter. And this is before I asked if I should punch the doctors in the face. This is still earlier in the evening. Pat goes to feed the meter, and I'm watching the sound check, and I crack open the program, and like I said, there's all the weird awards, and they start talking about the entertainment that's going to be there that evening, and it turns out that of course, like I said, the Dio hologram is your headliner, as it should be on a night where we're celebrating the man himself. But opening for him will be Sarah and the Tribe. I don't remember exactly who it was. It was some local band. It was one of those things again where, and I look, and by the way, I'm on Rock Solid talking about this stuff, so you might hear me repeat myself, but she was great. What was her name? Was it Sarah and the Tribe? I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look this shit up. Here's what I'm going to do, folks. I'm going to look up who this person is. I don't even know why I'm doing this on the air. How ridiculous is this? You know what? I'm my own Garen Cockrell right now. Let's see. And the Tribe is all I can think of. And let's see. I know there's... Hi, listening to me Google because I don't want to stop down and edit. Jesus. Sadie and the Tribe is who it is. It's Sadie and the Tribe. I should have realized it was an old lady name, an old-timey West lady name. But Sadie and the Tribe is the opening act. And like I said, they're probably represented by one of the assholes who won the fucking Metal Up Your Ass awards. You know what I mean? And so they were going to be winding up on the thing, and they weren't really a fucking vicious rock band, but they were rocking, and she hit the back wall with her voice. It was fun. We watched her in the sound check. And as I just mentioned, they did a cover of I Know There's Something Going On, which is a song by Frida from ABBA, and Phil Collins on drums. And the second, it was great because it has this very... very specific drum riff. It goes boom, 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 boom. So when they play, it was literally the first thing they did their sound check, and the guy goes, "I need another song," and then that drum riff started, and I looked at Pat and I go, "I know there's something going on," and sure enough, it was. They played it because I was like, either they ganked it or they're playing that fucking song, and then they played that fucking song and it rocked. And also, Dio has rocked for a long, long time. Now it's time for him to pass the torch because he's dead. All right. So Sadie and the Tribe, he's not passing the torch to Sadie and the Tribe, although their version of I Know There's Something Going On was pretty good. They did it a beat faster, but I still liked it. So Sadie and the Tribe's your opening band, and like I said, Ronnie James Dio, they're closing the deal. They're closing the show. Ronnie, Filmstrip Ronnie, and the rest of the guys. That's what they should call the band. Because holograms, like, that's a clunky word. Filmstrip Ronnie and the rest of the guys. How do you not call it that? I'm on board with that, right? Shouldn't we name the band Filmstrip Ronnie and the rest of the guys? Hey man, who you seeing this weekend? Dio tribute band. What do they call it? Filmstrip Ronnie and the rest of the guys. Sounds good, man. I like it. So they're headlining, but then I read in the program, and this is why I brought you to this spot. It took me forever to get here, but we're here now finally. It said there was going to be a special musical appearance, a special guest musical appearance by and look, I love this guy, and he's been nothing but sweet to me every time I've met him. But when I saw him in the program, I have to admit I was kind of like, yay. It was our great friend, a lovely man who, honestly, I met as far back as 1991 at the Laugh Stop in Newport Beach. He had come down from Sacramento and to do some time in the Laugh Stop, and he was great. We were just like, oh, who's this new guy who's good? That's fun. And afterwards we hung out, and he was super cool, and I've seen him over the years. He's been really great and very complimentary to me, and a lovely man and incredibly successful and talented. But I have to admit, when I saw him in the program that he was doing a special musical appearance, I was kind of like, what? And that's right. The industry crowd that was there to see the Dio hologram and receive all of these awards, the Flaming Horns of Hell award or whatever the fuck, they were also going to get a special musical treat from our great friend, Brian Posehn was going to be there doing some songs. And the reason this came to mind is because he was going to be joined by a guitarist extraordinaire, metal legend, and Brian's brother-in-law, I believe, Scott Ian from Anthrax was going to accompany him. And I don't know if he had a full band or if it was just him and Scott, and they were going to be tearing it up, whatever the fuck. But I do know that it was just when I saw it, it was so incongruous to have it in the program. Like, I don't know. Because again, Sadie and the Tribe, whatever the fuck, there's some guy trying to get them signed, or he's trying to get them hooked up with some other band. Who the fuck knows? Or maybe Wendy Dio knows them and likes them. And I'm sure Brian might have a relationship with Wendy Dio because he knew a lot of the metal dudes, and Scott certainly probably does. But it just seemed like, here was my thought. Again, I haven't heard Brian's stuff. I'm sure it's terrific, and he loves metal, and he's a true, that's the thing. He's not just fucking gravy training. I mean, this is a guy who loves metal and wants to do it, and I've never heard him, so I'm not judging him. I'm just saying it seemed like an odd pairing for the Dio Cancer Tribute or whatever the fuck. But the fact that he was going to go up there, and again, this is me projecting my chicken-hearted nonsense on it. When he's going to go up in front of an industry crowd in a room that's got, like fucking programs and butter dishes and a Dio banner and people rooting for Sadie and the Tribe and a bunch of fucking neckties and suits. And it just seemed like such a corporate fucking fail fuck, you know what I mean? Where I'm like, oh man, he can't do this. I would be nervous because for me, it seemed like the worst kind of corporate gig. Now look, the good news about that is he can hide behind a wall of fucking Scotty and guitars, so that's fucking great. But it just struck me as like the weirdest spot for a vanity project. Like if he did it at Largo, you know what I mean? And you can pack the room with your fans who are waiting to see it. That's totally cool. But I felt for Brian trying to debut some music in front of an industry crowd, and then we get in the lobby. I guess I shouldn't fucking think this because in the lobby there was enough metal weirdos in there where they'd fucking probably be on board with Brian. I was thinking more of the suits and the fucking cancer doctors who I was going to blacken their eyes for losing Ronnie. But everybody else who was there were some people there's some scene guys, you know what I mean? There's people lurking and waiting, and there's a lot of guys in vests. There was a dude, we got in line to get in, and there was a dude, we saw him paying the meter across the street, and I looked at Pat and I go, hey, you think this guy's on his way over here? And Pat looks up, and the dude, he's got gray hair down to his shoulders. He looks like heavy metal Paul Williams. You know who fucking Paul Williams was from Phantom of the Paradise and fucking Smokey and the Bandit. He wrote Rainbow Connection. I mean, Paul Williams is a fucking genius. Okay, I'm not shitting on Paul Williams, but this dude looked like metal Paul Williams. He had gray hair and the same glasses, little granny glasses, and then he comes over across the street in his t-shirt. He's wearing a black t-shirt, and it just says, "My blood type is metal." And Pat Hyder's like, oh, I guess we know where he's going. That dude's right there. And then he gets in line behind us, in front of us. We get in line behind him, and he, I got news for you. If your blood type is metal, you might want to eat some fruit or something because you, sir, stink. He just, you know what he smelled like? He smelled like a dead dog filled with wet pennies. Does that make any sense? He just that kind of funk, like that overwhelming, like animal musk, but also with this kind of sharp undertone of wet metal or blood. You know what I mean? I mean, and look, he could have been doing sacrifices. I don't know. He's a fucking metal dude. Whatever the fuck he's got going on. Whatever he had over there in his fucking Sonata, wherever the fuck he parked. But yeah, he just smelled. Oh, dude, he smelled like a fucking, like a bloated, in the sun, dead dog corpse filled with wet change. Ugh, what a mess. And then we're behind him, of course, and Pat just looks at me and he's like, ugh. I think Pat actually looked at me and said, "P.U.," which made me laugh because you don't get a lot of that these days. That's from right out of the fucking 70s. But it was fun and we had a good time. Why the fuck? You know, I just told you that just because of the Scott Ian thing, like, because I talked about anthrax and spreading the disease, because we were talking about,
hold on, I better put my mask on if I'm going to talk about this. This is why we got to talking about Scott Ian, because I had to throw on a fucking
mask, ridiculousness. And so Lily is trying to buy, like, she usually stocks up on masks and now she can't. So now we're all going to fucking just, because I don't know what the fuck's going on now, because again, this fucking coronavirus has happened, and now, do you trust our government to do anything at this point? I'm not even shitting on Trump at this point. It's just, it's anybody. I don't trust anybody to do anything anymore. I just think everybody's Depeche Mode, grabbing hands, grab all they can. Everything counts in large amounts, and they don't give a fuck who dies or whatever the fuck survives. And I hate to be that guy. I'm not a prepper, I'm not a fucking doomsday idiot. I'm not any of those fucking guys. And I'm also not one of these assholes who thinks that we're all going to die. That's another thing that you keep seeing all over the fucking place. Like guys on my fucking Facebook guys who grew up where I grew up and they're still there, like they're still firmly planted. You know, they got 3 kids and they live in Plainfield and they're like, oh, these Mexicans are taking our jobs. Yeah, a lot of Mexicans coming to Plainfield, you fuck. Well, maybe if you move, go find the opportunity somewhere else, you dick. Whatever. Anyway, these guys are all bitching on, like, my buddy, he wrote, and I might even talk to you guys about this. I hope not. See, this thing, I don't remember what the fuck I talk about. As a matter of fact, I have to straighten some stuff out from last week because I got a bunch of emails about last week, and I'll finish that in a second. But these motherfuckers are like my buddy posted, and again, he took offense because I kind of schooled him a little bit, but he wrote, "Hey, will you guys eat in Chinatown ever again, or while this is going on?" And of course, I just wrote, I go, "Man, you're insane." And he's like, "What?" And I go, "Dude, you're not." I go, "These people reading this, the people you live around, they have much more chance of dying from drinking too many Coronas than from the coronavirus. All right, nobody's gonna get Mugu Gai Pan that's got a fucking pile of germs on it." And he wrote me privately, and he's like, "Hey man, I didn't really think that. I'm just asking questions to try to get people to talk and respond." And I'm like, and I wrote him and I said, "Look, I'm not judging you, but what you got to understand is it's just exhausting to see the people that I know, that I grew up with, or people that I was tangentially connected to, just get another opportunity to make ching chong bing bong jokes and talk about these crazy Asians are eating bats." You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck? Grow up, go see the fucking world, go out and do something with your fucking life. Don't sit back behind a keyboard and be like, because whatever the fuck. And again, it's not even about politics. It's just about ignorance at this fucking point. And so he's just like, oh, this coronavirus and all these people are just like, yeah, they've this, and literally then people tangentially, because everything is judged through the prism of every other dumb fucking political thing. They're like, this is why we got to build a wall. I'm like, oh really? What anti-germ wall are you going to construct? What exactly are you going to do? You're going to put up like a giant sticky flypaper wall that's going to keep germs? Do you think germs look like the fucking Mucinex germ or whatever the fuck in the goddamn cartoons, where it's just a big ball of fucking phlegm? I mean, get the fuck out of here, man. These things aren't real. I mean, it's in the air. There's nothing. If you're going to get it, you're going to fucking get it. Part of me hopes they get it. Part of me hopes that a whole gang of fucking dudes with the coronavirus just drive through the fucking thing coughing and sneezing and just fucking lay waste to everybody in Evergreen Park or whatever the fuck. And then they'll have to be like, oh no, see, we told you. It's just the ignorance that runs fucking rampant. And then the ignorance of the people in charge of it just going, yeah, it's going to go away. That's my favorite thing. Yeah, it's going to go away. Yeah, because that usually happens a lot. You know, I'm sure that's what they thought during the Black Death. They were just like, eventually the Black Death will run its course. I mean, look, millions of people will die, but eventually, you know, we'll grow stronger and we'll have some sort of antibody in our body that keeps us from dying at the Black Death. It's just, you know what? You gotta survive that first tricky 18 months. You gotta make sure that they don't come by with the bring out your dead cart and have them throw your pasty white fucking dead ass on top of the other dead people in your neighborhood and get carted off and dumped into a ditch and have your bodies burned to save the rest of the serfs from this fucking germ that's flying around and killing all the poor people in the fucking business. And that's another thing I love to see too, is like rich people are freaking out at the stock market now and selling all their shit. And they're just like, and I saw somebody, they're like, oh, they're going to start buying gold. People are going to start buying gold because the price is going to go through the roof. That's going to be the only real currency now once the pandemic hits. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you fuckheads. You know what? Put away your flame-throwing guitar, Mad Max. All right. Nobody wants you to fucking make the leap that all of a sudden because 9 people coughed, you think that we're all going to be, that the end times have arrived. And I'm also not saying we got to fucking distance ourselves from it and think it's nothing. Look, I'd feel a lot better if smart people were in charge. Certainly, that would be cool. But I just laugh at everybody who immediately becomes an expert. It's as bad as sports. Like what I talk about, where people just they claim to know what running backs can do, or they this isn't the receiver we need. This tight end can't run his routes. Shut the fuck up, you work in an Arby's, you fuck. Go make me curly fries and shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear your what you think the tight end is supposed to do in Matt Nagy's offense for the Bears next year, and why they shouldn't chase Austin Hooper because it isn't worth it. And just all these people, because again, that's people's outlet. That's what they get to do. That's their they get to claim that's their expertise. They can all watch the combine and they can say, oh, this is the guy the Bears should get. I think they should steal this guard in the 4th round. And it's like, oh, do you? Well, unfortunately, the horsey sauce is empty. You want to go fill that up, Ben, the guy who needs to fill up the horsey sauce, and stop talking to me about what defensive backs need to do and what their responsibilities are in the fucking 3-4. You fucking hump. Nobody wants to hear Buster Screen. You don't think you can be a nickel back and convert to safety because you know what? Instead, how about if we do this? How about if you go ahead and make me a Baconator or whatever the fuck you guys make, or that's Wendy's. Maybe the Wendy's guys ran out of it too. Maybe the Arby's guys ran out of anybody. Make me a quarter pounder. Make me a Baconator. Make me a fucking big beef, a roast beef Charlie. Make me a goddamn pile of pink meat on a fucking squishy bun and shut the fuck up about what you think the Bears should do with their fucking defense. Look, if you got an opinion, I don't care. Okay, but if you come at me with this coronavirus, here's the real problem, because people won't wash their hands and droplets get into the air. And what, you read an article? Did you read an article? Is that what happened? Because guess what? I read an article too. Just wash your hands and hope nothing bad happens to you or your family. And also, by the way, recognize the fact that nothing's probably going to happen to you and your family. Although this is coming from a guy who laughed at swine flu and then got it. Remember that? By year 2, I got swine fucking flu. Even the doctor was like, I don't know how this happened. I'm like, yeah, me neither. And also I kicked it in like 3 days because that was when I was a younger man, a stronger man, a more virile man. Now look at me. I'm a mere shell of myself. They killed Mr. Peanut, and I thought to myself, oh man, that guy's older than me. But also at the same time, I'm mostly shell just like him. I'm ready to go at any fucking moment. But you know what? If I'm going to die eating fried rice, I'll die eating fried rice. I love those people. I couldn't possibly have any orange chicken because I might die from the coronavirus. Good. More orange chicken for me. More orange chicken for the rest of us. Go eat celery roots in your fucking bomb shelter, you fucking hump. Try to tell me that the world is going to end from this one fucking report. And again, this is what we're predisposed to do. Everybody's waiting for children of men to arrive. And I've talked about it too. The end is here. I mean, I think it's over. It's funny, Jesuit, he sent me a scolding text last week. Because last week I was like, yeah, Jesuit's talking directly in the podcast because he said it's very silly that anybody would be doing these things, and he would explain later. And then he wrote me, he's like, contrary to popular belief, I'm not talking directly to you in the podcast. And I'm like, I haven't written him back yet, but I want to go, did you really think I thought you were speaking directly to me? Of course I didn't. But it made me laugh when I fucking listened to it, and you talked about how people are thinking they're panicking because of whatever the fuck. But I agree. Everybody's panicking about whatever the fuck. But also in his fucking show, he's talking about 1974, a fucking airliner fell out of the goddamn sky and then Watergate was happening. And I'm like, I mean, we just had an impeachment thing and fucking cruise ships are filled with sick people and stuff. I mean, it still seems kind of tangentially connected in a bad way, but I don't fucking know. What do I know? I don't know anything. I can't even get the fucking show out on time these days, but not my fault this week. No, it's Mex's fault. Yeah, that's right. This is Mex's fault because he went to Tennessee this weekend because my godson is going to get into possibly Vanderbilt if he wants to. Who knows? He might not. But he's checking out all the good schools, seeing what he wants to do with himself. But Max was going to Tennessee, and he had the script for this week's show. He had it all ready to. I sent it to him like we do every week. I prepared the script for the show. I sent it to him. He reviews it. He red pens it, or he's got a red pen. He sends me back some notes, and we go ahead and I collaborate on it. And then I sit down and I bring you the show. Well, he leaves for Tennessee, forgetting to send me the script, and he has no access to his computer, so he can't fucking send it. So now I'm here. I got to wing it. I'm just fucking winging it now, folks. So, well, someday we'll get to the script, although the scripts are usually time sensitive. I try to write them up to the moment, but, well, blame David. There's a reason there. Yeah, this would have been out on time. I was ready. I was sitting here. I had showered. I was wearing a tie. I rented a tux, as I usually do every week when I do this fucking show. I was wearing my tuxedo. It's rented, but there's a place close, and they give me a deal because they know I'm going to come in every Tuesday and rent it, and then I wear it every Wednesday, and I bring it back on Thursday. Now, you might think to yourself, Mike, why don't you just rent it on Wednesday if you're recording on Wednesday? Well, here's why. I like to wear it around the house on Tuesday. Just kind of get the feel for it, get the lay of the land. It's like if I was a football player, I would wear my outfit, like in the NFL, I would dress up in my football suit on Saturday. And I'd walk around and everybody would be like, what the fuck, man? I'd be like, nah, man, game time. Got to be game time in my head a day early. And they're like, we don't play till tomorrow. It's like, fuck that. I got to get a feel for it. I got to get feel for what the uniform feels like. I got to get in a headspace. So that's what it works like here. I got to get the tuxedo on a Tuesday. I wear it around the house. Then the next day, I do whatever I got to do. Go to the gym on a Wednesday, get home, and I put the tux on. And it's got a lived-in feeling. And then I get the script out. I lay it out as I often do. I've got a lectern here where you usually put sheet music on, but I've got that. I'm sure you can hear me shuffling the pages here to and fro. And then well, not this week because I don't have the script, but usually then I go through the script and I read to you guys exactly what what's been run by David, and what's been approved and what's not been approved, and we go ahead and sort it out. But this week he doesn't get me the script back. So I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't even get a tux this week. So if this show sounds less fancy and if it sounds less prepared, there's a reason. It's because, well, David took off. He didn't approve the script, and then I didn't get the fucking tux. And then what happens? We wind up talking about me punching a doctor in the face and then the coronavirus and whatever the fuck. Who knows, man? I don't fucking know. We're all going to be dead soon anyway, right? Isn't that what happens? That's what I just heard. I hear that going around. Because that's another thing. And I love also, too, this makes me laugh, that people... all right, look, why are you blaming... They're blaming, like, Trump or the government or whatever. Now, look, yeah, he fired everybody. All right, he fired all the smart people, and he's got a bunch of dummies. And then he put fucking Pence in charge of this fucking thing, which is great, because Pence is... literally a snake handler. Like that's all he is he's this fucking, like, again, he's one of those dudes, like, he puts Pence in charge, and then there's a story, they're like, hey, did you know a bunch of AIDS people died because Pence thought they should pray it away? And I'm just like, what the fuck is happening, man? Everything is falling apart. But all right. So, I mean, I that's who you want in charge of the super flu, that sourpuss who can't be alone in a room with anybody who's not his wife. Oh, that's good. I don't know. Is he supposed to mean mug the germs out of here? He's going to pray them away. Going to talk to Jesus, whoever the fuck. Jesus doesn't give a fuck about our germs at this point. At this point, he's tired of hearing from us on either side. He doesn't want to hear about anybody at the rapture. He doesn't want to hear anybody praying to get fucking Trump out of office and all that bullshit. Jesus is just like, you know what? Can you guys just fucking calm down? It's almost baseball season. And Jesus knows that baseball Jesus, Bryce Harper, is ready to take the Phillies to the World Series championship. He's like, why can't you guys just calm down? Baseball season's about to start. Crack at the bat. Renewal, spring, crocuses and lilies. Go out and smell the air. Well, actually, don't do that. There's germs in the air. You're all going to die from the coronavirus. Don't take too deep a breath because you're going to wind up getting your fucking lungs. Like, I mean, dude, and again, it's going to happen, because they said pandemic. So I don't even know what the fuck that means. I think literally don't breathe too deep. That's it. Just take short breaths. Here's how you avoid the pandemic. Because again, you know what's going to happen? I'm going to go outside. I'm going to take a deep breath, and then I'm going to cough up a fortune. Like, that's how bad this fucking virus is from China. It's going to be just like, oh, please help me. I am trapped in a cookie factory. Oh, well, thank you. At least you got a sense of humor. You send me to my fucking deathbed. Jesus Christ. Oh, intuition is why do I do the intuition is much better than fact. Oh, well, thank you. I don't think that's true, Confucius, but good for you. I didn't know this was residing in my fucking lung, but good for you. Oh, man, I like that idea. I'm going to breathe in deep and cough up a fortune. I'm funny. I used to be funny, right? Didn't I used to be funny? I used to be good at this goddamn show. Never Not Funny just did their 1,000th episode, and I did a call-in for them, and I was just, it was very nice. I was invited to do that. But holy fuck, 1,000 shows. And then, because then in my brain, I'm like, wait a minute. I was there a year. I did like 58 shows, and then I was off for a year, and then I started my show, and I'm only at like 600. Like, did they do 400 shows in a year that I didn't fucking know about? But I think they're counting all of the like special shows and Sketchfest shows and things like that, possibly. Because also, I haven't even done 600 shows. I mean, I've probably had 20. I'd say I've got 20 shows that I fucking, chili dipped that were fucking just reruns or whatever the fuck. 20, probably 20 over the course of 10 years. 2 a year? It seems high. I think I probably had 1 a year. I think I might have had 3 this year. Who the fuck knows, man? Let's drink some water. That's what we got to do. Clear our throat. So here's the thing. People wrote me last week. I was a little worried about last week's show because I wasn't, I wasn't planning on talking about any of that bullshit that I talked about last week. But then, this show, as you know, it kind of goes to and fro. We get the script back from David. We see how that goes. I've just invalidated this bit by telling you this story. But I had other things to talk about, and then we wound up talking because I talked about how the fact that I had scrapped some audio, and then I was telling you about the fact that I had actually scrapped an entire show once because my ex had called me, told me she was pregnant in the middle of it, and said it was an emergency and whatever the fuck. So I was pissed off about the show last week because there was stuff. If I'm going to talk about that shit, I got to talk about that shit. I got to fucking roll my sleeves up and let it go. You know what I mean? I can't just half-ass it and go, I can't tell you that or then this or whatever the fuck, So eventually, I won't just have a book of matches. I'll have a fucking funeral pyre, which is fine. But I did want to straighten some things out from last week, and because like I did when I started to tell it, I'm like, I can tell this fucking story. It's funny enough and it makes me laugh. But then as I started telling it, I'm just like, it just seems shitty. It just seems like a not nice thing to do. It's funny. Like I told the story about how when I had done the show at the Improv, all right, so I didn't finish this thread. I'll tell you this thread. I don't even know if I even started this thread. Oh, it was when I got the ride home from the Improv. Yeah, I told this story. But the woman who drove me home, she's a friend and she's still a listener to this show. And she's like, hey, you forgot to mention the fact that I actually thought that your ex was my friend. Like she had actually talked to my ex and they had gotten along and everything was fine. And then when I mentioned that was who gave me a lift home, my ex had freaked out. She's like, you forgot to mention that I thought we were friends. And then I heard that and I was like, what? Which, of course. So I forgot to mention that. What else? There were other things I forgot to mention. Oh, listen, this is so weird, dudes. I'm literally like sweating. Like I was fine. We were rolling, and then I'm like, oh, I got to do this and this, and then I'm like, because it just doesn't seem. It's like why bring it up? Why bring it the fuck up? But because you bring it the fuck up, that's what you do. But I'll set the two things straight from last week. Some people were like, hey man, you mentioned you went to a restaurant with your friends and you never talked about what happened. So it wasn't like a devastating thing. But I had taken her, I took my ex to meet my friend Heidi and her friend Mel, and we went to a sushi place. And I thought I had talked about this on a previous show, but perhaps I did not. But, Heidi's my great friend. She's from Indiana. When I did the fucking show in Indianapolis, I stayed at her house. She was the one who had a tanning bed in her fucking room. She and I always go for sushi when she comes to town. She's super great. She's great friends with Jimmy. She and her husband's the best. Chris, he used to run a comedy club there. I think he runs another one now. Regardless, Mel is Heidi's great friend, and they come to all the podfests. Great friends. So I couldn't wait. I was like, because they had heard so much about my ex from the show, and they were like, oh, well, we're going to meet her. It's going to be great. I said, yeah, absolutely. We'll go to dinner. We'll go to sushi. It'll be totally fun. And my ex I had told her we were going, and she's like, oh, okay. And she seemed okay, but she was kind of moping around a little bit. It wasn't anything that, I was like, all right, well, when that would happen, I would have to go into this mode of like, hey, honey, no, it's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. How you doing? Are you okay, honey? Hey, I love you. It's going to be fun. I had this whole, where I had to be, like a fucking doting love coach. And I didn't mind that. I liked doing that a lot of the time, but not when she went into this mode where she wouldn't fucking talk. And she was being real quiet at the house. And then we got to the restaurant and she met Heidi and Mel. And we went and sat down and she didn't say a word the entire meal. Like, it was crazy. If she did speak, it was one word answers, or like they asked where she worked and she'd say where she worked. And then she'd look down and she just sat there I would try to bring her into the conversation. And I'm talking, because Heidi and Mel, I get along with them. I'd seen them at every single Podfest. We have some shorthand together. And I couldn't, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I mean, I did kind of, because she pulled the same shit. I took her to a Christmas party with all of my friends. And it was the big coming out where because she had met everybody at my high school reunion, but then we took her to Mex's Christmas party, which was a big deal. So I was excited for her to meet all of my friends and their wives, and maybe she could, because that's all the wives had become friends, and it was a big deal. And she wouldn't talk at that. She sat at my side, and I would try to talk to her, and I'd go, "Hey, do you want some wine? You want some?" Yeah. And she wouldn't. We played a dumb game called fucking Cards Against Humanity or whatever the fuck. That game, I'm not a fan. Because again, if I'm going to call you a cunt, I'm just going to call you a cunt. I don't need a playing card to tell me to call you a cunt. But she shut completely down during that. It was just fucking weird. This is not behavior I was unfamiliar with. But in a room at a party, it's different. When it's 4 people at dinner, it's very glaring that someone's not talking. And so then I would be like, all right, yeah, I would try to get her involved. We'd order this different food, and she would never talk. So then finally, I ordered some food, and I was like, you got to try this, honey. I was really excited. It was this dish, and she took it, and it was and she took a big it was a big thing that you had to open your mouth to fucking bite or whatever. So she fucking took it, and she went to take a bite of it, and it kind of fell apart. Sometimes rice will fall off a sushi or whatever the fuck. And I go, oh man, that was a big bite. I go, look at that. Look, was that me treating her like a child? I suppose. Yes. I don't know. But I was trying to do anything to lighten the mood at that point and be like, oh yeah, there you go, honey. Yeah. Get in there. You got to have some, oh my God, that's a big bite. And then, she completely went radio silent. We had another probably half hour of meal, and she said nothing at all, literally nothing at all. And we finished eating, and then we walked outside, and we said our goodbyes. And then she and I were walking to our car, and she goes, "Are you happy that you did that? I mean, is that what you wanted to do? Is fucking make fun of me?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she goes, "Well, you just made me look like a fucking pig. Like you said, I took a giant bite. Like I eat so much." And I'm like, "Whoa!" I go, "That's not what happened at all. I mean, I said, honey, I was just trying to get you. You weren't talking at all. I didn't know what to do. So then I was offhanded. We were goofing around. I mean, we're all friends." "Oh, was that what you wanted to do? You wanted to embarrass me in front of your friends? Is that why you brought me out tonight? Is that what you want?" And again, this is before I had stopped being, before I had started standing up for myself. So I'm just like, oh my God, I'm really sorry. I just don't know. What do you want me to do here? Because again, I knew then, because it was a Podfest weekend. So we were supposed to go do Podfest shit over the next couple of days. And then we drove home in silence, and she went right to bed and turned over and gave me her back and wouldn't talk to me. No goodnight, no kiss. And I'm just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? So that's what happened at the restaurant. And as far as the pregnancy thing, people asked, obviously no, she wasn't pregnant. What happened was I texted with her and I called her and I said, look, you got to take a pregnancy test and let me know what's going on. And she, like I said, she was mad that I was so matter of fact about it. But then that night she texted me a picture of a pregnancy test and she said, I think it's positive. And I looked at it and I had no fucking idea. It didn't say plus or minus, but it was lit up vaguely. Like she showed me the box. And I think it was like a minus, like an up, like a vertical minus meant pregnant and a horizontal minus meant not. And very, very vaguely you could see like a vertical line. And I honestly, when I saw it, I was like, Jesus Christ. And so I was like, all right, well I go, that's fine. I go, but that doesn't look dark because the one on the box is super dark. This just looks like you can see it barely. And she's like, I don't know, but what do you want me to do here? I go, well, you got to see a doctor. And she's like, well, how do you feel about this? Are you okay with it? I go, I will do whatever I have to do once we get official word, but I can't speculate. You need to go to a doctor. And then she got mad at me because I wasn't, again, like I said, I wasn't embracing the fact that, oh my God, I love you and we're going to have a baby or whatever the fuck. And because at that point I had been through so much fucking horse shit that I was just like, you get a doctor. Let's talk. Once you get a doctor and he says what's up, then we'll figure out what we're going to do. And she wouldn't go to a doctor. Like she kept putting it off. Like it was 2 days. and she wouldn't go. And then finally, I just realized, all right, well, this isn't real. You know what I mean? It kind of just dissipated. You know what I mean? So basically what was going on was she was, I think, trying to manipulate me via whatever. I don't know, because the test was in the dark. Like when she held it up, it wasn't super light. I don't even fucking know. So anyway, the point is, I didn't finish those anecdotes last week, and they're not great anecdotes. It just turned out, yeah, she wasn't pregnant. But people asked about those. People who emailed and said, hey, was this real? No, she was not. You know, and it was funny because, like, you know, we had actually talked about that stuff in the beginning of our relationship and talked about it, you know, if it could possibly happen and would it happen. And I was, you know, we weren't taking any precautions. I mean, if it would have happened, it would have happened, and I would have been like, cool. Until, you know, I realized that it was, that I was trying to fucking, navigate a fucking tornado half the fucking time. But luckily, and I hate to say it like that, but I know, fuck it. Luckily for the kid, not for me or for her, but luckily for the kid, because the kid would have been in a horrible situation if he would have shown up. So, or she, he or she, we had names picked out. We had all of it. It was fine. But at that point I was not excited. And, but when she did not go to a doctor, I was like, all right, well, then that's fine. I think, and again, truth be told, I can't remember if she ever went to the doctor. I remember that she wouldn't go initially. She kept saying how hard it was to make an appointment. And part of me was like, look, you need to make a fucking appointment. We've got to figure out what the fuck is going on here. But she did not. So it turned out to be fine. So, I don't know about fine. I mean, I still stayed for 3 more years or another year, however fucking long it was, because I'd have to check the date. Cause I kept going back. Yeah. I loved going back. God damn, was it great, for a while. All right. So I've answered your questions there. So what was I going to tell you guys? So, I'm on Rock Solid twice. I told you that. I'll just tell you, you know, it's funny because I'm seeing a new person, you know, and she was just here, you know, she was here in February for a week, a couple weeks ago, last week, actually. And she left town on Wednesday. She lives out of town. And, yeah, she's great. We get along great, but it's that thing again where you don't know. I just, the long distance thing is just so fucking terrible. I just, you know, I went through it with my ex and, you know, in addition to other things, but the long distance is never easy because you gotta you try. And cause again, and look, it's super early here. We're seeing one another and nobody's in any fucking, you know, we're not engaged, but at the same time, you know, you're seeing somebody and you text with them every day and you send them a video, you talk to them on FaceTime, and that's fun and it's awesome and she's cool. But you know, she was here for a week and it was great. And then she left and it was like, nah, you know, and like I said, it's a weird coin flip because it's, you're when they leave, you're like, oh man, I wish this person wasn't leaving, you know, cause it was pretty cool. Cause I enjoy being able to reach out and have somebody there, you know, whether it's their thigh I can grab or I can interlock my fingers in their hand and, or they're curled up with their head on your shoulder or whatever. That's pretty awesome. You know, that's great stuff. But also at the same time, when you're alone and you get to do whatever you want to do, that's kind of cool too. I'm not going to lie to you. That's fun. And by fun, I mean, it allows me the opportunity to fuck off and not do anything that I'm supposed to do, which is why the show's coming out on a goddamn Friday and I don't fucking make myself do the things I'm supposed to do. But yet, it's nobody's fault but mine, clearly. But we had a good time while she was in town. We actually went to, we did a few things. We actually cooked, which was pretty neat. I haven't, we made a ton of food, you know, here at my house, which was great. And cause I'm trying, as you know, I'm trying to be a normal, healthy person again. I won't lie. I've had a bad fucking week. I weighed in Monday and I was at 305. So I'm now down 61 pounds since January 1st. But I don't even want to know what it's going to look like on Monday because I've crashed directly into a wall of fucking candy and noodles this week. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. I was good for 6 weeks and now this 7th week I just kind of, well, fuck it. I actually know why. I can tell you exactly why. When she left last week, this is so dumb. When she was here, she was really cool. Like I was like, hey man, let's get some cake. or let's get some Chinese food, or let's do this. And she would be like, no, you shouldn't do that. And she was very encouraging, and she wasn't like a nag, but she was strength. She kept me on a path that I wanted to be on, and she understood it. And she has her own, commitments that she's made, and I helped her with those, and she helped me, and it was really cool to do it together. It was fun, But at the same time, I don't know if you know this, go look, do me a favor, look down at your iPod vagina, take a look at the name of the show. There's 3 words that are in the beginning, and then there's 1 word at the end that's very key to this entire experience. The 40-year-old, which is not even true anymore because we're way past that. But what's the last word in the title? Boy. And there is a boy who lives inside me who doesn't like being told what to do, and who makes foolish decisions based on wanting to rebel against being told what to do. And while I completely appreciated everything that she did while she was here, and we went through it together, and we held hands and plunged forward and jutted our jaws and made sure neither of us gave in to our weaknesses, the second I put her on the plane, I went, all right, now I can do whatever I want. The little boy inside of me took the steering wheel and drove us to the store, and I bought candy and I bought fucking chips and look, because I drove too, that triggers a lot of stuff for me. But also I know me, and I know it was because I was denying myself things, and I have a fucking disease, I guess. I don't know, that doesn't respond well to authority or being told what to do, or being told no. So I blew it up. I've probably had like 7 candy bars this week, and I had fucking Chinese food, and fucking I had ravioli, all the shit, all the stuff. The only thing I didn't get was a loaf of rye bread and fucking pour butter all over it. I just did. I fucking crashed and burned, which was amazing to do, because when she was here, dudes, I made a keto meatloaf and some keto meatballs. She made a roasted cauliflower hummus. There was food in my fridge, which is, as you know anything about me. When Thanksgiving smelled like Thursday, I was mad because I didn't feel loved. When I'm denied things, or when I'm told no, I don't feel loved. But when someone is here, and when she was working with me, and like I said, she was really gung ho, where she came armed with recipes. We made a lemon garlic herb chicken recipe that she found. We made chicken thighs on top of cauliflower rice with Brussels sprouts, and she's chopping in the kitchen, and I'm mixing meat, and we're full. And that, is there anything better? Is there anything better than sharing an experience like that with somebody who's really cool and someone you like being with? It's just, you're being taken care of. You're being taken care of, and there is that void inside me that wants to be taken care of. And I made my wife my mom a lot of the ways, because honestly, I'm learning in 6 years of therapy. I wasn't parented properly. I've been forced to parent myself my entire life, and I ain't good at it. I am not. I am a very, let's put it this way. I'm a fucking cool ass parent. I'm the parent who would drink with your friends. I'm that asshole. I'm the one who'd let your parents stay. I'm the parent who would let you stay up late and watch porn on the VCR. I'm that fucking idiot. No discipline. I give myself all the fucking leash in the world when I'm by myself. But when I was with her, I wanted to be good. I wanted to live right. I wanted it to work, and I wanted to make the effort. You know what I mean? Because someone else was watching. If nobody's watching, there's no reason to make the effort, which is bullshit, because that says a lot about your fucking character. You should make the effort all the time, because you should care enough about yourself to do the right thing when the right thing needs to be done. But I don't. I've talked about this on here ad nauseum, I should say. Ad Rock. I've talked about this Ad Astra. I've talked about it over and over. I don't give a shit enough about myself to fucking take care of myself the way I'm supposed to be taken care of. And I mean, I was doing great. I was kicking ass. And look, by the way, I'm still lifting. I'm still, like this week I'm lifting. I'm running. Last week I was up to 5.5 miles. I did 5.5 miles on the treadmill, and John was like, you got to cool it. He goes, do 3 miles when we lift and do 4 miles when you don't lift. He goes, but just go faster. So I actually, I'd been taking like 65 minutes to go 4 miles or 68 minutes or 70 minutes to go 5 miles. Well, I shaved it, man. And I did 4 miles in 45 minutes this week, a couple days. I'm jogging instead of walking. I'm actually kind of at a good clip. I'm moving 11-minute miles and stuff. And I'm excited about that. I'm making that work. Clothes fit differently. My face looks better. I feel it and I see it, and that's great, and it's amazing progress to make. But also, there's this fucking void in my brain that's like, yeah, no, go. You've done good. Now go do the other thing. Go do that other thing you like to do. It's a reward or whatever the fuck. And that's the fucking thinking I have to avoid. When she left here, I had a fridge full of food. I had a whole meatloaf in there. I had meatballs. I made this red sauce that's fucking really delicious. I mean, it was great. We cooked together and I made great food. I made breakfast for us where we had eggs and bacon, and then there were some leftover eggs. I put those in the fridge. I mixed them up with some meatloaf. It was just fucking, it was awesome. I loved it. And now that food is gone and my fridge is empty, and I haven't gone to get more because money is a bit of an issue right now. So I haven't gone to pick up any groceries, and I hate that I've made the same mistakes this week. I hate it. I hate that I gave myself permission to make those mistakes. You can't get mad at yourself. You can't beat yourself up. You can't be like, oh, it's all over now. No, I'll do what I can to grab the reins on it and get back to doing what I'm doing. Because again, the lifting is great and the cardio is great, but you got to have the food too. You got to have the sleep too. But I've been driving and I drive late at night again. I've got to figure out a way to balance my lifestyle in a way where it's going to work on all ends. And also I've got to start working and going out to do shows, I'm going to be in Ireland at the end of April 29th through May 12th, and I'm doing 2 shows. I don't have the official dates yet. Right now, I think I've got the venue. My friends, fucking Laura and Alex are there, and they're taking care of the venue. Laura knows people. She's getting it squared away. We're going to do promotion. I got to talk to Mex about possibly a poster. It's coming. I had a long Skype talk with them last week, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited to get over there and do what I do. And they've got comics that they know they're going to open for me, and it's nice to have that to look forward to. It's nice to think about that. It's nice to have a goal and have a plan. Does that mean I didn't sit in my house for the past couple of days and just fucking stare into space and do nothing? No, I don't know how to combat that just yet. Like I said, I blew it up food wise. I don't know why I blew it up emotionally, but I did. So I'm doing what I can to avoid that complete spiral, which is fine. I'm in the gym tomorrow morning at noon, running, lifting. And again, I've been running and lifting. All that's fine. It's just the food thing ran me down, fucking tackled me. And I think, it had something to do too with the fact that I, she was here for a week and that was totally fun and it was great and hanging out was awesome. But like I said, I gave myself permission to misbehave once she left. And that's incorrect. I'm not doing things, I made the mistake of doing this with my ex. Do things for her, do this for her. I got to do shit for me. I got to learn to care about me. I got to learn to love me. I got to learn that I'm worth it. And that the things that will come from this are worth it. Whether it's, fitting in a shirt or getting an agent or more auditions or working toward acting or any of that bullshit. You know what I mean? Anything. And going out and doing stand-up will get me in a position where whatever the fuck. And, nobody wants to hear my, ooh, boy, I hope so. I mean, we know it's the year of I will. And I will, but But it was fun to go shopping and cooking while she was here. That was great. We went to like 2 different fucking stores. I went to I like the romantic idea of having a butcher shop. So I went to a butcher shop and foolishly spent $70 on meat, but used it all and it made a difference. I mean, your meatloaf tastes a lot better when it's the meat from the butcher shop. And we bought chicken, it was amazing. It was just fun. It was really, really cool to see her there. We actually, what's funny, she's got family in town. I'll tell you this. We went to, she has a cousin and he's at Second City and he's doing improv there. And she, when she's in town, I try to tell her, I go, look, man, do whatever you want to do. Like if you want to go, and I won't lie. That's also like she bought her plane ticket to come out here. So I didn't want her to think that she was obligated to hang out with me the entire time. So I said, hey, if you're coming out here, I know you got family. I know there's other things you want to do and there's shows you like and stuff. Go have fun. Like, I mean, you'll stay at my place and we'll do stuff. But, go if you want to see your cousin or go have dinner with people or you want to see people, whatever you want to do. And then she's like, I'm coming to town to see you. And I'm like, all right, but I just don't want you to think that I'm monopolizing your time, and I don't want you to think that I'm trying to keep you from doing things that you need to do. It's weird, man. My head has been in a fucking car accident, and I'm just still trying to scrape it to make sense, And it's there's a small part of me that still thinks, well, I don't bring enough value for you to come here and just see me. And I know that's a fucking weird thing, but it's there, it exists, and I try to fight it off. I snapped at her once. We were watching Boogie Nights. We watched Boogie Nights on the couch, and she was kind enough to watch it with me. Because I was like, "You haven't seen it? Holy fuck!" And at the end of Boogie Nights, I said, "What'd you think?" And she goes, "Well, that was a movie. It wasn't for me." And I was like, Jesus!" I go, "You know what? I'm not picking a movie ever again." And that was born out of embarrassment that I had made her watch 2 hours and 40 minutes of a movie that she didn't enjoy, and also, it was rooted in another experience that I had that I will tell you. I had my ex watch Boogie Nights once, and she freaked out. Like, there's a moment in that movie that happened. Remember when he comes home after work and his mom is up waiting for him, and she starts screaming at him that he's stupid, he needs to get a fucking job. She destroys his room and tears his posters off the wall. That really upset my ex. And she was like, you got to turn this off. And so I did. I turned it off and I had to hold her. And it was really bad, And I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm so sorry. I felt terrible. And I was embarrassed again that I fucking made her watch it. So then my new friend was here last week. I don't want to say her fucking name. I feel like a dope. But she was here last week and we watched Boogie Nights. And afterwards, I was just like, oh man, I'm never picking another fucking movie. And she just goes, Jesus Christ. And, I was embarrassed by having made the wrong choice, and I felt stupid already. And for her to then say Jesus Christ, I went, hey, what, am I fucking exhausting? I mean, I don't need that in my own fucking apartment. I think I said something along those lines, which was not nice at all. But it was born out of the embarrassment of having her watch something she didn't like, and I felt, and also my previous experience of having somebody else hate it, and I was embarrassed, so I reacted that way, and I felt, and immediately I'm like, why are you snapping at this person? Because she didn't like something? What's wrong with you, man? And she's just like, hey, I'm not mad. I didn't mean that at all. And I went, I know, it's fine. Because now I am embarrassed that I've reacted like that. It's such a fucking spiral, man. Because you did wrong, and I even said that was wrong. I'm sorry. I know. I'm not. It's not about you. I'm embarrassed that I had you watch something that you don't like. And she's like, it's fine. And we watched the movie. It's over, and that's it. But you feel, especially because it's all new. You know what I mean? And also now it's like, wait a minute, if you didn't like that, because I love that movie, like it's fucking classic. And then part of me is like, well, you did show her a movie filled with porn stars fucking and people getting shot in the head and blood spraying all over sometimes and violence and all this other bullshit. So maybe that says more about you that you like this movie and less about her maybe not liking it. And I can't expect everybody to just fucking go, oh, dude, it was awesome, fucking porn. You know what I mean? I get that. But at the time, I felt super embarrassed that I that she didn't like it, and she had kind of sat through it, you know what I mean? Which was very nice of her, and she was very kind. But I did snap at her, and I'm trying to be very different. And I've been very verbal with her and told her too. I said, look, I don't want to make you my mom, because I mean, I did that with my ex-wife. You know what I mean? I absolutely made her my mom. And with my last ex, that was completely different, because she could have never been that. So I overcorrected with her, and I'm fucking, I don't know, man. Do you know? Does anybody really know? Y'all got your own stuff, and you just bring it, and it's in a big fucking suitcase, and you ever see like in the cartoons when somebody packs their suitcase and they run away and their shirts are sticking out the side, and it just looks like they hastily threw all of their junk into a fucking thing to escape whatever situation they had to get the fuck out of. And it can feel like that in your fucking brain sometime, man. I got a shirt tail hanging out of my ear. You know, I grabbed all the wrong stuff. I didn't grab enough socks. I mean, it's just, you're just not sure if you're prepared for this the way it is. And then you grabbed the wrong movie and made them watch it. And then you're like, because then also there's that guy who lives inside me who's like, well, great. Now, like I said, she's going to judge me thinking that I'm a fucking guy who likes porn and drugs and shit like that. And then she's not going to want to fucking talk to me again. It is so odd how this happens. It is not, the way I would describe it is, it's not even like there's one voice inside your head that tells you, oh, this is wrong, or look what you did. There's a fucking chorus, man. There's everybody's got a different thing to say. Oh, you fucked that up. Oh, you did this wrong. Oh, you shouldn't have done that. Oh, what are you doing? And you're supposed to just relax and calm down and accept that you're who you are, and everybody's going to be fine and everything's going to be okay. But it's there. It's there. And again, it lives here with the show. Oh, man, I just did a show that I thought was really funny, but I don't know if anybody's going to like this show. What if oh, man, I got to do it again next week. What if they hate that show? And this is a new phenomenon for me. I got no fucking idea why this is happening, but it's happening. So there you go. But it was, so I'm trying not to be the same person. I'm trying to learn from my past mistakes and trying to not be the way I've been, and I, like I said, I made a lot of great progress with my ex. It's just that my ex was, that was like kind of trying to deal with a fucking badger some of the times. So it didn't matter what I did right or wrong. It was not enough or too much, or, there was never any baby bear in that relationship. Nothing was just right. Porridge was always too hot. Porridge was always too fucking cold. So, and now now I'm just like, I'm not even bringing porridge. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. Tell me what to do. I got no fucking idea. But so she was here, and so I'm always saying stuff like, hey man, go out, go do this, go do that. But one of the things I used to do with my wife was I would say, hey, go do this. Hey, if you want, she would always want me to go do things. She'd want me to go to a museum. She'd want to go to the beach. There were things that she loved that I refused to participate in because I was selfish. We've talked about this. I was not a good husband. I was a very bad partner. And I thought I was being a good partner by letting her indulge in all of the things she wanted to do. No, go do that. Oh man, if you want to go to that restaurant, you should go. Oh, if you want to go to the beach, absolutely. Oh yeah, go see that movie. You'll love it. Not knowing that I was supposed to go to the movie, or I was supposed to go to the museum, or I was supposed to go to the restaurant she wanted to go to. And I'm not completely at fault. Like I said, I've done good work in 6 years of therapy. I know where mistakes were made and where mistakes weren't made. It might be 7 years now. Jesus Christ. Yeah. You know what? In fucking 2 weeks, it'll be 7 years I'm talking to Shannon. That's wild. But I thought I was doing a good thing by just giving my ex-wife the freedom to do whatever the fuck she wanted, when not realizing that she wanted me to share her life and her interests in the things that she wanted to do. So when it came up that there was an improv show that her cousin was in when she was here 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, she even said, look, you don't have to go to this. I know you, if you don't want to go, you don't want to go. I said, no, I'll go. And she's like, no, I totally get it. If you don't want to go, that's fine. And I said, no, look, and I even told her, I said, look, this is the thing I used to do. I would tell people to go do the thing they wanted to do. I said, but if you're here visiting me and you want me to go, I would like to go. Absolutely. Now, did I want to go? Fuck no. Who the fuck wants to go to an improv show? Holy shit. I'm not even sure she wanted to go. But the very fact that she lives on the East Coast and she's in LA when her cousin is going to be on stage in an improv show, how the fuck do you not go? You can't get out of that. She can't, certainly. I could have, but it would have been a chicken shit move to try to get out of that. I mean, fuck, I can, and look, what, it's 2 hours. Go. But it does open up all that weirdness that I've got inside me, where I told you, I go to comedy shows and I just sit there and I try punching up sketches, or I try punching up people's jokes, and I it's just the way my brain works. You know, it's almost painful for me to sit through that. I know that sounds terrible. I don't mean to sound like a weirdo. If people are good, I can recognize that they're good. But unfortunately, comedians watch comedians and go, this guy's funny. You know, nobody's fucking rolling on the floor laughing. I mean, I sometimes, you know, but most of the time, if I'm going to these other shows, I'm just like, yeah, that's good. Oh, no. That was a good premise. Or, you know, I mean, it's just, I'm no fun to go to those with, you know, because I wind up punching up jokes the whole fucking time. Like when I told you 2 weeks ago when I went with Pat, or a month ago when I went with Pat, I'd lean over and go, you know, this joke is right here. Do this. And he's like, I know. And you know what I mean? And I go, I know you're tired of me doing this. He goes, no, I get it. And I'm like, nobody wants to fucking know it all in the audience to go, well, you know, if you did this, excuse me, as a professional comedian of 30 some odd, shut the fuck up, dude. Get your Poindexter ass out of here and go do your own fucking act. Don't punch up anybody else's. But that's what lives inside me. So in my brain, I'm like, you probably shouldn't do that, or can't do that, or whatever. But I went to the show. It was at the Second City down in LA. It was on a Sunday night, and we went to it. And we went upstairs. We go into the showroom, and thankfully there were 2 seats in the back row, because I gotta at least do that. That's my concession. Let me hide in the fucking room, and that's fine. And the way it works is, you know, he's taking classes at Second City. So this is the people he's in class with, and they all make these, it was a show. It was basically, when you go to an improv show, there's different forms. All this was suggestions from the audience, and they perform sketches off suggestions from the audience. They would ask for like a place, you know, where do you live? Or they'd say, hey, what's a good place where to bring your son? You know what I mean? All that. And then people would yell out, yay, a graveyard, whatever the fuck. And then they would have to do an improvised sketch about bringing a son to a graveyard. In Chicago, there's a natural rivalry between stand-ups and improv people. It's 2 completely different animals. I never held any contempt, because when I was a kid, I think I told you this, I was actually accepted into the conservatory, like the touring company of the Second City, for classes and performances. And I was like, all right, that would be cool. But then I had no money to sign up and do it. And then I also did improv with a group in Naperville. Because improv is all about, you know, whatever the fuck. You got to be quick, but also you got to advance the scene, and you've got to be good to the people in your scene. It's all about, you got to make everybody else look good. You know what I mean? You can't just walk out and pretend you're the star or whatever, or you have to yes and everything, as we all fucking know. But improv is about everybody else. It should be anyway. If you're doing it well, it's about everybody else. You should be concerned with being fucking Magic Johnson. Everybody should look good. You should be fucking passing out assists all over the fucking place. And if you see an opportunity to be fucking funny or get a dunk, you fucking do it. But improv's all about everybody fucking passing it back and forth. Unless it's early in your improv career and you don't have any instincts for it. And hey, guess what? We went to this thing. We sit down in the back row, and her cousin comes up on stage with all these other people, and they're like, hi, we're Conservatory 1, and we're here to do some sketches based on your suggestions. So why don't you tell us a good place for 2 people to meet? Whatever the fuck. And someone yelled Home Depot. So the first sketch was her cousin and another guy, and they did a whole scene in Home Depot, and her cousin wound up singing in it. All right, it like went that route. And I will tell you this, like I said, I was dreading this. All right, I didn't want to be there. I was going to go, though, but I was also going to give it with an open mind. But at the same time, in my brain, I'm like, all right, I'm going to try to punch this up, I'm sure. And then he was in the first sketch, so then I'm like, oh, all right, well, let's tear the fucking scab off right away. But I'm here to tell you that, I anticipated having a very uncomfortable conversation with her after the show and going, oh man, that was a little rough, and because even Bridget was like, yeah, I know improv is really hard to watch sometimes. Like she was, I said her name. Fuck. Uh, Bridget, she's lovely. There's her name. So she's even said, you know, that improv can be hard to watch, and she understood if I didn't want to go. And so I anticipated having a very uncomfortable conversation at the end of it and just going, well, that was yay, right? I mean, it was okay, at least some, whatever the fuck. A lot of hemming and hawing. But the good news is that at the end, by the end of the first sketch, the blackout sketch, because that's what they do. They would, once they hit a punchline, they do a blackout, and then someone would ask for another suggestion. And you have no idea the relief I felt. You have no idea how happy I was by the fact that her cousin was good. Oh my God. You have no idea how relieved I was, because I knew we were probably going to see him after and probably go out and have a drink or something, or, you know, get something to eat. And I knew I was going to have to tell him good job or whatever. I knew I was going to have to paste on a face and pretend that I had a good time. And I could do that. I mean, I've done it millions of times before. It would be harder talking even to her and just going, hey, yeah, no, he was great. He was great. You know, I didn't want to do that. But holy fuck, dudes, he was good. I was so happy. He was really good. He advanced the scene. He sang. He knew how to take it to a weird, outlandish place, but also remain within the scene. He didn't make himself the star. He tried to make the other guy look as good as possible. And I was so happy. Jesus Christ, was I happy. I was like, oh my God. So then they only did a half hour, and they did a bunch of different sketches, and he was in one other sketch, and he was in a sketch with a woman. And again, it was that same thing. We're like, give us a place where people meet. And someone's like, a coronavirus quarantine center. And he's like, all right. And then he timed it perfectly. There was a woman sitting there, and she played it. This is what I hated. Like, all right, this is the bad thing. Everybody in this fucking show, because then we had to sit through, because their show ended after a half hour. I was like, all right, let's get the fuck out of here. A half hour. But then, yay, more improv people around. They go, we're conservatory too. Let's get some scenes. And so I just wanted to get the fuck out of there. Whatever. We had to sit another half hour. That's fine. But everybody in every sketch started a conflict, except her cousin. Like her cousin was trying to be funny in advancing the scene in every other sketch. So in the coronavirus quarantine center, he kind of walks over, and she's sitting on a chair, and she's like looking all scared and frightened and looking around, and he's like, hey, how's it going? And she's like, I don't know. They took my phone away. I don't even know what I'm doing here. And he goes, oh, well, come on. We should all just relax. He coughed at the perfect time. He coughed. It got a big laugh. Because he didn't start out going, hi, you know what I mean? He could have buried it and fucking made it stupid. But instead, but the thing is, the choice she should have made, she should have been happy to be there too. It's so much funnier if you're happy to be in the quarantine center. She's acting frightened. She wants to escape. She doesn't want to flirt with him. She doesn't want to do any of these things. And he's picking her up like they're in a goddamn singles bar filled with germs. It was just, his choice was right. Hers was so wrong. And everybody all night long, except for him, and a couple other people. I have to admit, there were a couple other people. But you know how improv is. It's just like, hey, give us a place for a date. And someone's just like, oh, the fire station. And they go, okay, fire station. It's like, why are you, what? No, fuck you. Say something else. But that's another thing too, is the other improv people in the crowd, like, they were yelling stuff from the back of the room. They weren't letting the crowd give advice or give fucking suggestions. And so they I wasn't a fan. And you know me, I'm a child. I'm sitting there rewriting everything. There was a sketch, dude. This sketch, they're like, what's a good place for a first date? And someone yells, IKEA. And they're like, all right, IKEA. And it's a man and a woman. So the man sits down in a fucking chair, and a woman sits next to him. And she goes, this is really nice. And the guy's like, yeah. And she goes, so many places to sit. Which is a great line if you're in an IKEA. That was perfect. It was a great way to get into the scene. And then he goes, I just wish they'd hurry up with your meatballs. Like yells it and looks down at he clenches his fist and he screams meatballs. And so now here's what you've done as an improv person. You've made this completely about you. You've basically invalidated where you're at. And you've put the onus on her to either match your rage or go, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that's every Saturday Night Live sketch is always like three people acting weird and one guy going, what's going on? Like, I don't even know what's going on. Even the David S. Pumpkin sketch is just the skeletons and David S. Pumpkins acting weird, and then Whitey McWhiterson and fucking Kate McKinnon just going, why, what's with the pumpkins and the skeleton? Like, why? Like, literally invalidating the premise. That's every Saturday Night Live sketch. Somebody does something funny and everybody else just is like, why is this guy acting so funny? You know what I mean? It's just fucking weird to watch. So this dude steals complete focus by screaming about meatballs. And now, so she's got to react to that. She can't just go, well, I'm sure they'll be here any moment. She's just like, wow, you must really like these meatballs. And he's just like, I'm just so nervous. I've been waiting for this date forever. And it's like, let me ask you something. Okay. If you said something in an IKEA, what should happen in the IKEA? Let's put on our comedy thinking caps right now. I understand you're shopping for furniture, you're doing things, you're eating meatballs, whatever the fuck. There's lingonberries, all sorts of delicious stuff at the IKEA. But I'm asking you right now, what is the one thing that comes to your mind when you think of IKEA? You probably said the word furniture. Yes. Now, when you think of the furniture at IKEA, what is the very next thing that you think about? The fucking names of the furniture, the stupid Swedish goddamn names. The only reason to be in an IKEA is to use those fucking names. So literally she should have been like, there's so many places to sit. And he would have been like, well, I built their Karfenfugen just for you. And then they could have just had a whole dialogue about Flugenfrugers or whatever the fuck, Boggentrotters, whatever the fuck, anything, Boggengovers, make it up as you're going, any silly fucking name, Bundle Grippers, anything you want to say, man. Bubble Bangers, we got that. Whatever you want is fucking right there. Buster Gaggles, Brittle Crunchers, whatever the fuck, Bucket Guppers. It's there. It's right there. But they didn't. Instead, he acted the fool and pretended like he was being shy. And then she's like, how long have you been waiting to ask me out? And he's like, 7 years. And it's like, so now you've made the sketch even fucking weirder. So you waited 7 years to act her out and you took her to a fucking IKEA on your first fucking date. And also in my brain, because I like lean over the bridge and I'm just like, hey, there's no waiters at IKEA. What's it mean he's waiting for the meatballs? Just go get them. And she's just like, I know, honey. And I'm like, yeah. So fucking weird. Like, you've put all the onus on the person you're with. Why are you doing that? It's fucked. Then there's another sketch where the people are like, it's in a bathroom. Of course it's in a bathroom. That's what everybody does. So if somebody tells you your sketch is set in a bathroom, what are you going to do? Hopefully you're not going to do what these people did. It was a man and a woman, and the woman is at the sink, and she's like kind of looking in a mirror. She's looking at us like it's a mirror. And the guy comes in and he just sits down on a chair like he's taking a shit. And she says, oh, all right, I'm in here. And he goes, you know about my IBS. So now that just shows how unequipped you are to do improv. It just shows how unequipped you are to be funny or comedy. You think IBS is funny. You think shitting is funny. And the fact that you think you would shit in front of a woman is funny. And it's funny because then the girl is talking to him and she's trying to deal with the scene herself. And again, it's just the onus where these men put it on the women to try to react to their strength or their fucking whatever their weirdness is. You know what I mean? They just take over the scene. It's like, dude, let the woman be funny. Give her a fucking space. But also at the same time, like I leaned over to Bridge and I'm just like, I go, she could change this whole scene if she just goes, you know, we all use that bathtub. Like if he wasn't sitting on a toilet, like literally, because he didn't fucking lift a lid or anything. He just sat down and started shitting and talking about his IBS. She could have said, yeah, I understand what you're doing. That's fine. But we all use that bathtub. Huge laugh. And it pivots the whole scene. It pivots the whole fucking thing. But instead, I understand why she had to sit there and deal with the guy taking a shit. It was just like, what's going on? Improv's a goddamn mess. And believe me, that's coming from a guy who just basically had to improvise a 90-minute fucking comedy show for you. Comedy? This might be strong. Because his fucking co-producer took the script to Tennessee, that fuckhead, and he didn't fucking send it to me for fucking review. Whatever. It was a good time to go out with her and see your cousin who was good, but Jesus Christ, improv. It was funny. Like, I haven't been to an improv show that wasn't my friends. Like I saw Chip and Pat and Jimmy. They had a fucking crew and they did improv once. And that was at least, that was written sketches, okay? That wasn't making shit up on the spot. Because Chip's an improv guy from fucking forever. But being in that room and watching it, it just, boy, did it bring me back to to just sitting through terrible improv. It's still the same. Like improv is still terrible. If you got the wrong people doing it, that's the thing. You got to see the right people doing it. If you got the wrong people doing it, holy fuck, is it awful. So it was nice while she was in town, and we got to do that, and that was totally fun. And we had a good time. We went to Lucha Vavoom, if you know what that is. Lucha Vavoom is it's a wrestling / burlesque show. Blank Patch is a friend of mine, and he was like, hey, he wrote me a note. He's like, hey, because I saw him at Super Bowl Sunday. He's like, I forgot to ask you on Sunday, if you want to come to Vavoom, I'll put you on the list. And I'm like, fuck, I would love that, because I knew Bridget was going to be in town. And she's a big burlesque fan. She actually just did a burlesque act. She took a class and then did her graduating class with a performance just before she came out here. And I was so proud of her, because that's a hard thing to do. I mean, I go up, I talk, whatever the fuck. You're taking your clothes off in front of a room full of people for the first time, and having to take a class, then going up. And I was so happy she invited friends from her work to come and watch, and because I thought she wasn't going to have anybody there. I felt terrible that I couldn't be there, and which is so dumb. It's like, it's not about me, but you want to support. You want to be a nice guy, and so luckily her friends came and they loved it, and then she shared it on Instagram and stuff, so she was real happy, and I was proud of her, because she worked really hard. Because I mean, dude, going to class, learning the moves, and then having to graduate, but graduation means getting naked in front of people. Jesus fucking, I know I couldn't fucking do it. Jesus Christ. So good for her. But then we went to Vavoom, and we fucking hung out, and it was just, and we watched wrestling, and we watched burlesque, and it was just crazy fun. And Blaine shouted me out, which was ridiculous, on the microphone, which is great, because he's like, Mike Schmidt is here, and nobody boo, nobody booed or cared, but that was fine. I didn't care. I was just happy to be in the fucking room. And afterwards we found him. I fucking hugged him, because he's hilarious the whole fucking time. He's the broadcaster and he's the announcer, and it was just, and Drew Carey was there with him, so the two of them were fucking killing it. It was great. It was really fun, and it was really fun. And then she went home, and then I fucking decided to be a child who had been standing in the corner for a week, and come back out and indulge myself and do whatever the fuck I wanted. I was the Home Alone kid. I was fucking I was Kevin, and I got to shave and slap fucking stuff on my face and scream and eat all the wrong stuff, and I got to be better. I got to be better than that, and I will. And that means also here working, getting the show out. You know it. Every week you hear it. Every week you're hearing it. But every week I'm making progress, and every week I'm did I get my dick knocked in the dirt this week? Yeah, food wise, yeah, I did, but still working out hard. And gotta drive, gotta make money, gotta do. It's just fucking life, man. It's and we're all in it. You're in it. I'm in it. You got to do the things you got to do. She's in it. She's working 7 days this week to make up for her trip, and proud of her for doing that. Proud of anybody who makes the effort. Just got to start being proud of myself. And I will. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friends at Facebook.com/the40yearoldboy. You can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/the40yearoldboy. You know what else you can do if you want? You can find me on Instagram and Snapchat. Well, I'm there. Go look for me, Mike40YOB. That's Mike40YOB on Instagram and Snapchat. I'm there lurking and waiting for you to find me and love me. Please love me while you're there. Would that be cool? That'd be great. Pat me on the head and tell me you like Boogie Nights. If I get one person who likes Boogie Nights, reach out to me, please. I got to quit fucking striking out with that goddamn movie. Find me, please, at Instagram and Snapchat. That would be the best. I would love it. Our great friend Ryan Dirks does all the web stuff for this show. You can find him at Facebook.com/Ryan Dirks and tell him he's super cool, because he is. And of course, David Mex Hernandez does all of the music and the artwork for this show. I don't even know if he wants me to plug this. You can find him at Facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez. And get this, I guess he started an Instagram. Now, did I know he started an Instagram? No. Did he tell me? No. I had to find out from a friend who tagged me in a post with him. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess that's happening. I think he just started it this week, but he's David Mex Hernandez at Instagram. So if you've got that on your phone, look him up. You'll see him, and he's posting there. I don't know. He's still learning it. So, but follow him, man. Do that. Get him some followers, so he's got people he wants to, he can post to, instead of just posting stuff into the ether that I'm going to see. He doesn't want me to see it. He wants you guys to see it. So please check it out. But also, Facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez is where to find him and join his closed group. First of all, he does all the artwork for the Westside 86 Jokers page. Go ahead and join that if you would. That's our fan club page. Join that. You'll see his artwork for that. But also, if you become his friend on Facebook, you'll see all of that artwork anyway. He's got it in files and folders. Scroll through his photos. You'll see all of it there. But he's got his closed group. This is dumb, that's dumb, you're dumb, I'm dumb. You want to join that, you send him a note, then he sends you 3 questions, you answer those nicely, and then he lets you in the group, and then you all get to make fun of the world and post memes about Jesus. Well, that's awesome. And from what I understand, the girl in the bikini is going to be taking her bikini off shortly. I think it was Ass Wednesday this week, and we got to see Tits Tina, or Tina Big Tits. What the fuck's her name? God damn it. Whatever. But she had her ass out too, so that's the thing. That's the most important thing, because again, Mex is an ass man from way back. So you want to join the club, Jesus Christ. This is dumb, that's dumb, you're dumb, I'm dumb, and check out all of the amazing characters he's created. Slumpus McGrumpus is there, and then there's a potato with the teeth, I think. It's all there. It looks like you remember the Quiznos monsters who went, they got the subs. He draws something that looks like them. It's a great place, so go ahead and check it out. There's somebody in a bee costume, I believe. Go to the This Is Dumb, That's Dumb, You're Dumb, I'm Dumb page and ask to join. Then when you join, you're in there and you can post memes and have a great time with everybody else who's in there hating Jesus and the world. Just like our friend David. But becoming his friend at Facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez is the key to doing all of that. You can check all of his artwork out. And you can buy his artwork. He offers to he can do your Facebook caricatures. He can do paintings for you. He works in oil. He works in watercolors. He'll sculpt something for you. He'll certainly draw you like one of his French girls. He'll show you his etchings. Whatever you need to see, he can do. Whatever you need accomplished, he can make happen. But you need to hire him to do it. First of all, like I said, go to Facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez. Go through all of his photos, see all the artwork he's created for my show, all the profile stuff he did for my page, and then join the This Is Dumb, That's Dumb page. See all the characters and stuff he created for that, all the memes, all the amazing stuff he's done. And also, you can go to his website. What? Yes, he's got a website. Go check it out right now. artbydmh.com. That's artbydmh.com. Doing to my stupid head. I know what you're thinking to yourself. You're saying, hey, Mike, are there still sponsors for this show? Inexplicably, yes, there are, as a matter of fact. Thank you for asking, by the way. Shouting that out in your car at your iPod vagina. And I heard it all the way over here, all the way on the left coast, all the way out here in California, if you will, where I live and love. But don't think it hasn't entered my mind to go somewhere else. Don't think I haven't thought about going to other places. I saw a friend of mine, my buddy Joe, moved to New York, and he listed an apartment for rent in New York. And he's like upstate, I think. And it was a 1-bedroom with a 1-bath, hardwood floors with a breakfast bar. It was lovely and beautiful, and it was $850 a month. And I almost fainted dead away from seeing that number. And I know if I were to go to other places like Iowa or wherever the fuck, it would be even cheaper. But I can't do that, right? I need to stay here. I need to keep running up that hill with Kate Bush. I need to still trying to make sure that I can be the guy that I want to be in the place where I want to stay. All right, nobody cares. Sponsors exist. Podcasts who sponsor us. Let's talk. You know what? Let's switch it up. Let's talk about my good friend Rob Matsushita over at the Knife Drop podcast. I think episode 11 is still up now. You can download that. Get all of them. Get all 11 episodes. They're really good. But the last one was episode 11. They talk about the Dana Carvey movie Opportunity Knocks. They talk about the movie One Cut of the Dead. I think Big Slim McGroovy shows up at some point with a malted. And they talk about When the Bow Breaks. It's a fantastic show. And our friend Rob's a good friend. Although, what did he hate the other day? I saw him hate something on Facebook where he's like, nope. And in my brain, I was like, that was something I wanted to like. He said he watched 10 minutes of it. Oh no, he watched the Hunters show. I think he watched that. The Al Pacino show on. Now, he might talk about that on the Knife Drop. I don't want to spoil it. So go download the Knife Drop podcast. It's available at Anchor, Stitcher, Podbay, all those fine places. Go ahead and check it out. The Knife Drop podcast with our friend Rob Matza Groovy. Big Slim McSheeta. Go listen to it's a hybrid. They're all there. Go listen to the show, please. It's fantastic. Fearful Jesuit. Let's talk about him for just a second right now because he called me out via text, hurt my feelings. He didn't really hurt my feelings. Hold on. That's not good. No, he said that he wasn't talking directly to me, and then he scolded me. I got a finger wagging via text, but that's fine. He's a busy man. He can go ahead and take time out of putting together unbelievably epic opus podcasts and point out my mistakes, my misgivings, if you will. The Paranoid Strain podcast is available right now in the iTunes store. Go ahead and download it, subscribe to it, please, and then leave notes. Leave a note in the iTunes store, a review, if you will, 5-star review. Tell them you love the show, you love Fearful Jesuit. And you love me for introducing you to the show because I'm the conduit. I brought you to it, although it was Jesuit who asked me to bring you to it, and I'm happy to do it because he's a fine man who makes a wonderful gumbo with the coldest basement in America. But still, he's still a good man. Although now, I'll tell you what, he's betrothed. He's in love. He's got a lady friend, and I'll bet that basement is no longer cold. And that's not a euphemism. But still, I'm kidding. It'll be warmed up like the cockles of my heart. This new show is all about Philip K. Dick. At least I thought it was all about Philip K. Dick. Here's the thing. It veers off, and it's about everything. It's fucking dense as hell again. Information and dense, and it's questioning reality at its face because that's what Philip K. Dick, or as we now know him, PKD, did. And it delves into, and I will tell you this, Dana gets turned loose on Yelp. Dana Unicorn gets to fucking run rampant yelling about Yelp. What did I learn on the show? I learned that we were created by a flawed and evil God. I learned that. I also learned about the pitiless lion eat lamb logic of the food chain, which you'll hear about in this show. Now I'm going to do something a little different here. I listen to the show and it's about PK Dick, but it also it veers off into exploring Christianity in all of its facets, like the 8-armed octopus that is Christianity and all the different Christianities and holy Jesus. Again, it's me listening. I try and I do my best. I don't think I'm smart enough for the show. All of you will be, but it's lovely and it's amazing and it's so well done that I still can and want to listen to it, even if I'm Googling frantically while I'm listening to it. He explains everything, but still at the same time, I'm like, all right, what's this? Well, I got to see this. I got to check this out. So I took a different approach as I was listening. Here are the what have I got here? I got 8. I think I got the top 8 band names that I've pulled out of this show so far, out of this episode. This episode about Philip K. Dick. Number 1, you should name your band the Velas Events. Do you go see the Velas Events? I think you do. If they open for Mercury Rev, you're probably there to see the Velas Events. This one's right out of the 90s. This is a really good one. Techno-Gnostic Messiah Thing. I think that's a good name for a band, right? Don't you? I'd actually see the Velas Events if they opened for the Techno-Gnostic Messiah Thing. Another name, of course, is the Black Iron Prison. I mentioned that last week, but it came up again this week, and I found that to be a fine thing. The Gnostic Secret Gospel of John. I don't know if you're going to fit that on a fucking bass drum, but it sounds fucking cool as a band name. The Divine Daddy God, which, come on. I guess you could be just Divine Daddy God or Gnostic Secret Gospel of John or Velas Events, but Techno-Gnostic Messiah Thing, that's a fucking home run, don't you think? And then here's the last one I was able to pull out. Soviet Telepathy Experiment, which is a fantastic name. But I still think if we're all voting right now, I think Techno-Gnostic Messiah Thing is the winner. Because you could actually see them opening for 9 Inch Nails, couldn't you? Techno-Gnostic Messiah Thing with your head like a hole. Go check out the Paranoid Strain podcast. Go ahead and write them a note. ParanoidStrain@gmail.com. ParanoidStrain@gmail.com. Write our good friend Fearful Jesuit a note. It's available now in the iTunes store. I got it early, so I've been listening and reviewing, but it's actually available now in the iTunes store. My throat is fucked. I don't know why. Oh, no. Hold on.
You know why? Because I don't have my mask on. Now I put my mask on, I sound a lot better, don't I?
Oh, Corona. My Corona virus. Go listen to I can't believe I did that. Go listen to the Paranoid Strain. The Paranoid Strain podcast, available now in the iTunes store. Download it. Leave a review. Write our good friend Fearful Jesuit. Tell him how fucking... Again, it's amazing work. I come here, I rattle my brains, I fucking spit stuff out, I talk, whatever the fuck, in circles. That dude is meticulously scripting out a goddamn 3-hour show and then intercutting it with Dana and language and using turns of phrase and just, talking about Gnostic Christianity. Dude, I wouldn't know a fucking thing about it. I don't know anything at all. I learn from this show. Certainly I'm educated to things that I knew nothing about, but boy, because Philip K. Dick, to me, again, he wrote Blade Runner. That's that guy. I didn't know he was fucking bananas. I didn't know he thought that we were living in a concurrent time that was before Christ, but at the same time, the present time, and we were living in it now. And I didn't realize also, get this, this dude thought that there was the Gospel of John, and then he thought that the Velas Events were in the Gospel of John, and they were added to his Bible later in life. And he, what a fucking banana head Philip K. Dick was. Unbelievable. But please listen to the show, because it's one of those deals where, like, you ever see Seven? And then they got John Doe's notebooks, and you're just like, man, that dude is so crazy. He's fucking genius. That's who Philip K. Dick is. He's one of those fucking, just a fucking whistlehead who's just like, yeah, man, here's the thing. Jesus talks to me exclusively through these books, and he sends it over here, and then there was a pink light that was shot into my fucking brain, and I'm a precog and all that other bull. And let's talk about the Soviet telepathy experiment, and Jesus fucking Christ. Philip K. Dick, what the fuck? Can you imagine being his book agent and trying to talk to him? Hey, buddy, we just need something by October. I don't need to hear about you and your Black Iron Prison head, all right? Just fucking spit out some more gobbledygook about time travel that we can sell to the rubes, and we'll be happy and we'll leave you alone, you fuck. He reminds me, it's funny, listening to the show, he reminds me of the story of Lee Harvey Oswald. Another guy, it's just a name I've known forever. I've known Philip K. Dick's name forever. I've known Lee Harvey Oswald's name forever. But then you start hearing the history of him, and you're like, holy fuck. Lee Harvey Oswald traveling to Russia twice, and then he's in fucking, he's talking to people he shouldn't be talking to, and then he's on TV doing an interview about communism. It's like, what the fuck? I thought he was just a dude in the book tower. I didn't know this. It's like when I found out about, is it Hedy Lamarr? Hedy Lamarr, who she invented radio or some bullshit. She's like the Nikolai Tesla, but with tits. It's like, man, it's fucking amazing. It's reductive. I don't mean that. She's a fucking genius. She invented spies. Like Hedy Lamarr invented spies and shit like that. And you're like, wow, that's fucking amazing. But she's also like a hot ingenue on screen. Philip K. Dick is writing Blade Runner, but at the same time, his brain is as soft as a week-old avocado. I mean, this guy doesn't know what the fuck is going on. And he falls for some chick with a fish on a necklace. It's just, he's insane. And you got to hear it because, again, when when Jesuit breaks it down, and Dana's even Dana, that's my favorite part, is Dana's just like, hey, what the fuck is going on here? And Jesuit's just like, yeah, I know it's crazy, but give me a few more minutes. And then of course a half hour goes by, and then Dana's like, hey, fucking Jesuit, because it's such a crazy story, and it needs to be heard, man. Go check out the Paranoid Strain podcast, available now in the iTunes store. Download it. Download this episode, but subscribe. You know what you do? Subscribe so then you get all of them automatically when they come out. And then you can just nestle into a room with a black light and a fucking Bob Marley poster and just fucking take 4 pulls off your bong and float away with the fucking dulcet tones of Jesuit and the clipped tones of Dana Unicorn and imagine what she looks like and probably pretend that she's naked while she's telling you stories about all the mean people on Yelp and you find out about Philip K. Dick and what a fucking chowderhead that guy was. Jesus. All right, go check it out. Paranoid Strain podcast, available right now in the iTunes store. Downloadable for you this moment. Hey man, who wants to hire me for Cameo? I think somebody does, right? You? Is it you? Could it be you? I think I told you last week I wanted to do like a 20-minute cameo for somebody, and then like someone wrote me, they're like, don't do that. I'm like, yeah, of course don't do that. I know. Because I'll tell you what, I haven't even heard from these people. They must have been like, they're probably not even done watching it. It's been a fucking week. They probably erased the fucking thing when they saw it was 20 minutes. I just, I fall in love with the sound of my own voice, and I also don't want to cheat anybody. But I mean, it's $15. Give them a minute. Fuck. Whatever. All right, so I'm at Cameo. Put the app on your phone and find me. Hi, Mike Schmidt. Just Google me. Not Google me. Fuck. Search me in their archives, I guess you would call them. And I'll do a cameo for you and your sister and your brother. Come on, people now. Hire me for your brother. Let me talk on the phone. Let's all get together and make fun of one another on Cameo. Hire me this instant, please. Please, I need the dough. God, do I need money? It's ridiculous. Uber and Lyft exist. Hey, Troy, I got your email. I'll write you soon. I don't mean soon like in 2 weeks, but like I'll get you in the next couple days. But if you want to use my code for Lyft to get a ride, don't use it for, I guess you can use it for a ride, but then I just get a free ride and who the fuck cares? But I guess I got to go to the airport someday, whatever. All right, so Lyft exists and use that code MIKE 720057, Mike 720057, all lowercase. For Uber, DJZW1YTTUE, DJZW1YTTUE, all lowercase. Lyft is all caps. Jesus, who cares? Just try it. I'm sure I'll get credit or I won't. But if you want to be a driver, use those codes. That would be great. It would help me a lot. If you want to be a rider, first time, use the code too. And I get free rides and that's fine. That's all that anybody cares about, right? Yeah. We have a Twitch channel. Did you know that? Twitch.tv/the40year-old-boy. I'll be on there playing The Witcher. I can't stop playing The Witcher. Like, it's one of those games where I've been playing it for a month. Not really, 3 weeks. But I'm only 14% of the way through. Jesus Christ, there's so much Witcher shit to do. I made the mistake of doing all the side missions where I was like killing pirates and killing cannibals and whatever the fuck and finding armor that wasn't good enough. But now I'm like dealing with street gangs and I went into a brothel. There was naked chicks. It was totally fun. I went to a steam bath. There was more naked chicks. This game's fucking psycho, but it's fun. So go to twitch.tv/the40year-old-boy and follow or subscribe to the channel. Then you'll always know when I'm on it and come in and say hi in the stream and say hello to me in the chat room. I would love it. And then I'll say hi back and I'll talk to you on camera. It'll be like we're having a conversation, except you can be naked somewhere and you're watching me on TV. How fun is that? Right? So Twitch exists. Go ahead and do that. Amazon, what? I have an Amazon link. Go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Go to the merchandise page, which we all know is the Joe Business page. There's an Amazon link lurking. Click on that, and then you're shopping. And I get a taste of the gig. I get money. No, I'm sorry. We get money. They get money. You get stuff. It's a perfect relationship. You're shopping anyway. The fuck? Give me a cut of Bezos' cash. That bald fuck needs to share the wealth. That seems strong. He's a good guy. He just went ahead and, I don't know if he's a good guy. He's got $80 billion. But, he's out there and he's made his bones. I don't know. I'm exhausted. I can't fucking make fun of these people anymore. It's like literally it doesn't matter. The world's never going to change. Nothing's going to get fixed. So I can't be like, hey, Jeff Bezos is destroying the environment and mapping the universe for some reason. I don't know why Google or Amazon need maps, but they do. Amazon's going to deliver shit, I suppose. I don't know, man. But he's out there. And he and I are business partners. I'm a business partner with Jeff Bezos. So if you go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, go to the merchandise page and click on the Amazon link, you're shopping and I get a taste of it. And, I really need that. I might make it sound like it's silly, But when you do that, it truly helps the show, man. I get cash, and I thank you so much for thinking of me. Go ahead and use the Amazon link as much as you can because it truly helps me and the show. Whether you're doing it at work or home or whatever, I get a taste of the gig, and it's great. We get money, they get money, you get stuff. It works out perfectly. So thank you for thinking of me, and please continue to think of me when you do your Amazon shopping. And use my link. If you smell link, what Mike is shopping. I have a Patreon page as well. If you want to become a part of that, why wouldn't you? I can think of several reasons why you wouldn't want to, but if you want to, that's cool. It's out there. Patreon.com. Go check for my name. Google Mike Schmidt. I think it's Mike 40YOB as well. Or Mike 40-year-old boy, whatever the fuck. Just Google Mike Schmidt Patreon and it's going to come up. You're going to see my smiling face. And if you wanted to do that, it would really help me and the show. And I appreciate you thinking of me and possibly doing something like that. And also, if you're in Europe and you want to do Ireland, I should have ticket information soon enough where you can buy tickets to come and see me. I have a feeling it's just going to be me and Alex and Laura and whoever the opening comics bring. But, you know, what the fuck? I maybe... If some of you who've been clamoring for me to come overseas can somehow make the trip, that would be totally fun. I'll be doing 2 shows in Ireland and excited to do it. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I don't know what stories. It'll probably be a lot of stories about Ireland. Nah, probably not. What if I just did that? What if I just talked about Ireland? What if I just washed up with Irish Spring soap? Ignore me. I'm ridiculous. All right, so that all exists. Please find me there in Ireland. Why? Patreon. The Amazon link, Uber, Lyft, Cameo. These are all the plugs, right? Are we done with the plugs? I think we are. Oh no, one more plug. I'll tell you this. I've mentioned it. I mentioned it at the beginning of the show, but I'm on the Rock Solid program. Now I'm on Rock Solid twice. I did Yacht Rock, which is out there floating around. Floating yacht. And also I did the episode where we reviewed the Ozzy Osbourne album when we talked about the Eddie Money tribute show, which was totally fun and cool. And it's available now for you to go ahead and download right now if you go to the iTunes store and just subscribe to it, man. Pat's show is fucking cool. He works really hard to get guests. And I can tell you this, I am unbelievably doing another episode. I don't know when it will air. I'm recording it this weekend. So, everybody, people who were very nice and reached out to me to say they liked the show that was with me and Mike Siegel and Pat. It'll be another show with me and Mike Siegel and Pat. And I just love talking to my friends, so I'm excited about that. That's really cool. So look for that as well. But right now, me, Mike Siegel, and Pat are doing Yacht Rock. And then it's just me and Pat doing the ridiculously long 3-hour, but fucking worth it because we're funny episode about the Ozzy show. And some of the Dio stuff I talked about will be in there now. And then we review the Eddie Money tribute show, which we did, which I think I told you about, where James Hetfield showed up and all that stuff. It was totally fun. But go ahead and check that out, please. That's available now. And that's all my plugs. That's all I got for you, I think. I don't know what else to do here. I should shut it down, right? We're late already, and we went long. We probably went a little long. I talked too much. I don't know. Is this even worth doing anymore? I'm just kidding. What if I was that guy? What if at the end of this I was like, by the way, I'm never doing another show. All right, take care of yourselves, guys. That'd be fantastic. No, I can't do that. I got a mailing list to get started. You're already thinking, oh, Mike, what happened to that mailing list? Oh, no, it exists. It's out there. MailChimp is still being built right now. I'm waiting for more people to go ahead and join up. If you want to send me a note at heymikeaddme@gmail.com, heymikeaddme@gmail.com, I'll get you on the mailing list. Oh, yeah. And if you thought this show came out late on Fridays, what do you get this week's mailing list next week? How great will that be? When I give you a mailing list after the fact to describe the show that you listened to a week before, that's my goal. Listen, I want to just stagger my output. All right. I want to go ahead and give you a show one week and then a mailing list the next week and then a show and a mailing list, but then they don't correspond. I don't want anything to match. I want to make it as difficult as possible for me to be successful and for you guys to like me. Can I do that? And I know you're thinking to yourself, well, Mike, you've already done that. Yes, of course, I've already done that. But what I'm thinking is I can make it even more challenging. Like maybe if I put out the fucking newsletter in Italian or Spanish or something like that, and you had to do a Google Translate, or even this show, if I ran it through like Babelfish, is that even still a thing? Is Babelfish a fucking thing? Or was that even a band? I might be making that shit up. I know there was like Rosetta Stone, and then there was some other fucking thing that taught you how to go ahead and use a different language in like 5 days or some bullshit. But Babelfish, wasn't that a thing where you could actually run your whole thing through a translator, and then some swarthy motherfucker would say your stuff with rolling R's, which is exactly what I need. The 40-year-old boy. That's what I want. I want a dude like that. Some dude with a pencil-thin mustache, some flamenco dancer motherfucker. I want him to go ahead and bring you my fucking show. That's what I need to do. I just need to farm this out, man. I record it. I send it off to some fucking flamenco dancer guy. He taps his feet. He rolls his R's. You get wet and you think to yourself, God damn, I'm going to bang the shit out of that guy. And I'm like, wait a minute. I said all the funny stuff. And all of a sudden, wait a minute. Now you're following the flamenco dancer? You could have been on my side. But no, all of a sudden you're fucking going with the flamenco dancer and fucking leaving me in a goddamn lurch. I said all the funny shit. I gave it 2 hours of funny just because this motherfucker shows up, pencil thin mustache, greased back hair, shiny gold lame shirt, and rolls his R's. You're going to fuck that guy instead of me? I won't stand for it. I refuse. This is my content. You know what, flamenco dancer? You're fucking fired. Who else can I hire now? I need to find a different kind of dancer. That fucking flamenco dancer's got to be fucking weird.
If there's anything I like more than me, it's people who like me. I love me, but if you love me, I love you. 'Cause you know why, we both love me. How great am I? Let's talk about that for a while, and by a while, I mean forever.
Charlie Podcast.